of the Community Redevelopment and Housing Commission today is January 9 to 2020. Please rise for the Pledge of the Alliance. Commissioner Calderon, will you do me the favor to pray us?
Sure. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Recording Secretary, please take roll call.
Vice Chair Aguinaga,
Present.
Commissioner Calderon,
Present.
Commissioner Frazier,
Present.
Commissioner Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Perez,
Present.
Chair Santana, Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Tardif, Commissioner Vasquez. We have quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Seeing a quorum, this meeting is officially called to order. We're going to go to the consent calendar. This is the time for the Commission to consider matters under the consent calendar. Item 1. I would like to amend the agenda to include that Commissioner Garcia is present. Do I have a motion to consider item 1?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Matter approved by 5 commissioners, with Chairperson Santana being absent. We will now consider matters under the business calendar. The first item on the business calendar is item number 2, public hearing for the community, the development block grant, CDBG, for the fiscal year 2020 and 2022. Does the public have any comments they wish to share with the Commission? Seeing none, we proceed with the agenda. Does the staff have any comments they wish to share with the Commission?
No, not at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time and place for the public hearing of the Community Redevelopment and Housing Commission of the City of Santa Ana for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, program for the fiscal year 2022. At this time, we would like to hear from the organizations who submitted an application for the Community Development Block Grant Program funds for the fiscal year 2020-2022. Staff have prepared a schedule of a speaker from each organization. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to present their proposal to the Commission. Staff will indicate when the speaker has 2 minutes left and 1 minute left to the speakers. Commissioners may then discuss the proposal and ask questions of the applicant for up to 2 minutes before the next speaker is invited to present. If there is anyone else who would like to speak about the proposal, you will have the opportunity to present your comments at the end of the presentations. I would like to invite our first speaker to present the proposal. Fair Housing Council of Orange County, can you please come up? Thank you.
First of all, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. And please excuse my voice. I'm not contagious, but
You're in the cloud.
But I was ill over the holidays, but I'm much better going into the new year. And thank you for having us. And I want to thank David because it's marvelous working with him. We've been basically working with Santa Ana for over 45 years with CDBG Community Development Block Grant. We love working with the city, and what you have in front of you is projection of what we did last year. So you could basically see that we have fulfilled our obligation to you. And one of the reasons we were able to do that, we're a HUD certified counseling agency. We have 3 grants from HUD. We have a HUD counseling grant that we're able to basically help individuals with our landlord-tenant counseling. So all of these grants basically help your particular grant. Then we have an outreach and education grant, an EOI grant, where we're able to speak to the public and have communications between landlords and tenants. We do a lot of mediations. You have no idea how many mediations that we do. And also, with our grants, we're able to work with people that are not documented, because legal aid cannot do that. So whether you're documented or not is not an issue with us. I know that our grant require basically for us to report. We have a lot of individuals here in Santa Ana that are afraid to give that information. So we don't demand that they have to have it. Anybody that walks in our doors, as long as I'm in this position, we're going to assist. So what you have in front of you are the ones that we have documented. The ones that we do not have documented, we were still able to assist them. Then we have a PEI grant. That's for enforcing housing discrimination. We can do audits all over the city of Santa Ana, as long as our other city. I just want you to know, in order to get these grants, you have to qualify with HUD. The PEI grant was 23 was given out, and we're one of the individuals that received it, and we've been having this grant ever since 2001. Do I believe we're one of the best fair housing councils in the state? Yes. In the country? Absolutely. I have a dedicated staff. You know, I have Dave Levy that's been at the agency for 25 years, all the way down to Liz, who's been at the agency for 6 years. And not only for these grants do we have to qualify, we have to send our resume in. We have to also qualify. I've been in fair housing for January the 7th, oh, it passed, for 30 years. We love what we do. We love that you've given us the opportunity to work for you. And if it's anything that we could ever do that we're not doing now, please hesitate and let us know. You do have an invitation in front of you for our open house. April is Fair Housing Month. We're having an open house on the 22nd. This is just basically for you to put on your calendar. You will be getting a professional save the date and then a calendar. And I just want to thank all of you again for allowing us to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Now I will instruct my commissioners to ask any questions. I'm going to start with Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Honestly, at this point, I don't have any questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Garcia.
I don't have any questions, just thank you for your presentation and the chart.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I would like to acknowledge, before we go any further, that Commissioner Tardy, Madam Secretary, is here.
Yes,
Not
I'm
absent. Thank you. Commissioner Tardy.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
Wow, no questions from Dias. You're like, one more to go. One more, can we do it?
We can count on you,
We
Jim.
can count on you. No, actually, I wanted to say this. I think you're doing an outstanding job. I think you continue to show such a valuable asset to this city. And as I looked at your numbers, I was very impressed. One of the things that you talked about in your presentation are ideas or suggestions. As I looked at where you've actually done your outreach and sites that you've been to, I will say it would be nice to do a little bit more partnership within our school district and look at some additional opportunities. I know they have a school climate meeting, and I know some of these housing issues have been brought up. So I can direct you to...
Could you please, because Brenda basically is the one who scheduled that. I know we go to a lot of after-school programs where we can deal with moms and things that's picking the kids up, but we would definitely like to have that information.
Beautiful. So, and I think that's really all I have to say. I'm very impressed with the work that you're doing. Continue the good work. Really excited of creating this proposal, moving things forward. So thank you very much for your time and
I
energy.
really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Denise.
Cecilia, you don't have anything to ask
No,
me?
So I'm back for a while again.
Thank you so very much, all of you. And
That you do for the community, we appreciate it.
and Happy New Year again to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, David.
I will call Nati's house, neutral ground for crime prevention. Nati?
He's actually giving them the school climate information. Nati sits on that committee. Thank you, Nati.
Hi, Nati.
Hello, commissioners. Thank you for having me. Here we are again. I've handed, I don't know if they've handed out, David handed out the first one, and this, I've given you three, but the first one is simply from Judge Midioki and from the juvenile courts, and something that we're working in with to do diversion within our city, working in collaboration with our county courts to help some of our kids. A little bit more on that is that a lot of these boys that have been incarcerated for violent crimes, what have you, they're coming back into our city. And what we have the opportunity, we have direct access into the juvenile hall. We're working with them on a weekly basis. And when they get out, we either help them in housing, we're able to mentor them and walk them out. We're actually meeting them at the door and walking them out. That way they're just not out in the street. And we have our hands on them. And a lot of these boys and girls have committed violent crimes, but they've turned and we've been able to work with them. So just a little something there, another piece of what we do with Neutral Ground. I want to show you a couple things from our after-school program and our intervention program. The reason why it helps us a lot, as the slideshow that I've made for you guys, is we've been able to help some of our individuals graduate and walk them through their graduations, because we're not only with them during the daytime on the school sites, but we also developed relationships where we're doing home visits with them, and we're walking through many different things with them after school. So, which is the key, because in the daytime they're in a structured environment, and it's when they get out of that structured environment is when we're able to be effective with them and help them out. We've made many relationships. Actually, our program is also at 5 schools, and at each one of our schools, we have probably a caseload of 80 students from each of our schools, where we have a relationship built on weekly. We pull them out one-on-one. So after school, we have access to them. We have access to our community with all of them, which works for us. This is something that we did over at Cal State Fullerton, his IM conference. We took some of our boys. These are some of our boys from our after school, our Neutral Ground program. We were able to take them up there for a full day at the university and let them see that culture. Once again, we're also at an elementary at Washington over by Memorial. So we've been able to work with after school and with a lot of these younger kids, because the key to it, all of this intervention in our streets, and it's that younger generation that we could deter them from getting into just trouble. And so we're glad to be at the elementary level at Washington. This is one of our schools after-school things, programs that we have over at Chavez, working with all that area, all those individuals from the Delhi, the Evergreen area, the mini apartments, Lopers, all those areas there. A lot of these kids that we have at that school. Once again, this is kids from the Godinez area. This is Desi. She's one of our CIWs, intervention workers, and some of our kids from that area that we're also working not only with the troubled, some of these kids are having issues, but also kids that are doing very well. And they're able to bring a positive into our program, and that's some of these kids from Godinez High School. What I want to show you here is that our city, Santa Ana, we have many community, the associations, our neighborhood associations. But within our neighborhood associations, that's what it looks like. That's the gang issues that we have in our city. And what you're seeing there is that there's a lot of little cliques and neighborhoods that aren't even on there yet. But in our community, in our city, what I think there's an underserved community out there, and these are the kids that we're working with, are the kids that are not going to the after-school program or any of that. So there's a big issue going on there. And what I want to close on with this is that there's violence in our city, and you guys may not see it, but I see it every day, hands-on, in my face. The boy in the striped shirt, that's Nathan. I worked with him for 4 years. He was murdered over on English and 17th. They shot him in the head. He had just gotten a job. He was working with his girl's dad. He had gotten an apartment. He had just had his second child. His second child was only 2 months old. He's been a part of my father-to-father program, doing very well. And it's very important, I believe, that we do street gang intervention with all that we have, because that is an area that is not being served.
Excuse me, are you going to be presenting the two and one?
No, the second one, I'll do the.
Are you going to be doing it? Or?
No, I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should give him more time because
He's going to do one at a time.
Yeah, I just finished the gang intervention, My Heart for the Streets. That one. Okay?
Okay, then I'm going to instruct the commissioners, they have any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon.
Sure. Thank you for your presentation. I've been familiar with your line of work and other partnering organizations that do the same work. My question is, what is the caseload look like for every case manager per se, like for students, like kiddos to mentor? Like how many would you say they have?
Mentors per kids?
Yeah.
Well, at our school, we're able to work with them every day. So we have maybe 1 or 2 community intervention workers, boy, girl, that are in there. And we're pulling them out on one-on-ones, maybe a 5-minute, 10-minute one-on-one. And unless there's some intervention or some trauma that's going on, we spend more time with them. But we have a total of 5 intervention workers that we are working with them. So we're able to, because we have access to them in the daytime, and we have an MOU with the district where we're there. So we're able to bring them out anytime we want.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm just curious, the college day that you have, the event where you bring the guys out to the colleges or the girls out to the colleges, do you have any success with any of those kids enrolling in college and either making it through a 2 or a 5 or a 4-year college?
Well, we've been doing it now for 3 years, and some of our kids are mainly going into some vocational. A lot of them aren't, stepping in there. A lot of them have to work, and they get out there. Sometimes it's hard to even keep them to graduate because they have to go to work or whatever. But we are getting the graduates. We are exposing them. That picture is at USC. We present at USC with our kids from here to undergraduate and graduate classes over there. We're bringing them in from our city and getting familiar, and they're presenting to the graduate students. So, it's a work in progress with them.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to start from Commissioner Perez. You're going to be next.
No questions. Thank you very much for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. When was the young man killed?
It happened about 7 months ago, and it was tragic. It truly was.
Yes. That's too bad. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for the presentation. So I'm familiar with your program. What I did want to know is you're saying that this particular program has only been in existence for 3 years? Is that what you're saying?
No, we've been actually have had an MOU where we've been able to work directly with our school district. So we are in partnership with our school district that gives us access to all of our schools. And I'm at Chavez and Lauren, which are call them credit recovery, but you know, they're a little more tougher than
Thank you for
schools.
clarifying. I appreciate that. So at what point are you going to keep, I know it's early still, but like tracking the college or the graduation rate and seeing the impact of your program? Are you gathering those numbers now, keeping track of these participants?
We have follow-up with them that are in the schools, but there hasn't been a whole lot of that, to be quite honest with you, of the university level.
Okay, just the high school?
Yes, mainly the high school.
Okay.
And we're also giving them, we have opportunity to give them jobs. Because we just got funded to be able to help our students with job placement.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I do have a question, Mr. Alvarado. Which one of the kids, you said the one with the stripes,
That's Nathan.
which one, but there's two with the stripes?
No, with the big stripes.
Which one?
Great.
Yeah, with the thicker stripes, with the gray, dark gray,
Gray on gray.
and light gray.
Go to my store.
Yeah, he lived right there in the community there. Yeah, Nathan.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you, I'm belong to the Young Motivation Task Force. I wanted to ask you, you have any program with these kids that you have people talking to them as an example, you know, to give some kind of samples?
Oh, yeah.
That, you know, that people that have been in the wrong direction,
Oh, yeah, I'm,
war or immigrants,
I'm-
do they use
yes.
as an excuse?
my whole circle comes from individuals that have been there, changed their life, be very productive, and, you know, a lot of that. So we definitely are able to relate in those areas.
You ever need help? I volunteer for the Young Motivation Task Force. I'd be
Sure.
really happy to go and speak
Thank you.
with the kids.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
You well known in the community, and you reaching the homeless too, the kids from the homeless?
You know, they're in there. There's a lot of layers to our city. And, you know, with this stuff. And to be quite honest with you, there's only so many lanes I could be effective. And I just had a meeting with somebody yesterday regarding that. And my lane is these kids in the diverting the violence, and that's pretty much what we're looking at, to be honest with you.
Thank you so much. Now you can proceed with the
Okay.
program. Thank you.
Okay, what I've given you here, there's a handout on this one, and what it is I don't know if it was in there or not, but it's my staff listing. The one that may be in there may be the one that's within the brackets, but the second one was our staff listing from last Summer Night Lights of our employees that we did bring up. So that's just a little handout, just in case. I don't even know if it popped up in my application. Just want to make sure it was there.
Thank you for that information.
So now what I'm speaking on is our Summer Night Lights. Summer Night Lights has been a blessing to us. It's been, you know, we were able to get the very first pilot program. We were able to get it, and this is a piece from our Summer Night Lights this last year that we had. I believe that we were very effective. We were able to reach approximately 1,500 individuals in the matter of about 6 weeks that we went through partnership with Artisa Pilar Neighborhood Association. Every night that we were there, we brought in the County Fire Department. They were there. They did some presentations for us, kids hung out in the truck. Our police was there, our park rangers. And one thing that I'm very proud of is that we did not have one incident the first year or this year. There was not one call there was not one violence, there was no arrest. We didn't have the gang unit on the premises, not at all. There was no graffiti on the park premises at all, within any of, and speaking with the police department, the numbers of police calls in that area actually dropped. It was in the 35, 40 in the years past. It dropped down to 14, 15 in the last year on police calls. And some of those were for barking dogs and what have you. So we were welcome. They were there. They were present. The Santa Ana school police were also there with us. We were able to feed, even though they were funding, the money we're able to use the money from this for food. We were able to gather food. We fed everybody every night as much as they wanted. So that was a big hit. Not only that, we gave them ice cream and snow cones and water, and we had haircuts. We had guys, friends of mine from the community have barbershops, come on out, and we gave haircuts to the kids. We had some of our city and government individuals come on out, and throughout it, there was many of them that showed up different times with us. We were able to collaborate with some of our community organizations that came out and just gave information on different nonprofits that we have in our city. The kids, it was great. We had arts and crafts every night for them, from painting to games to creating things as you see there. And they enjoyed it. Some of the parents would tell me that the kids would be at home waiting for the parent and telling them, "Can we go now? Can we go?" And they wouldn't, want to let the dad get a break. But we did face painting. Brought in some people from Santa Ana High School. This young lady, she's one of the students, an artist. She's actually going to Santa Ana College now. She came in and they were doing face painting for all of our kids, one of our little boys. We had sports outside. We played musical chairs. A lot of these kids are some of our high school students from the area. We played dodgeball, which was a hit. Crazy hit, a little bit too much. And basketball, handball, volleyball. We were out there on the grass. It was cool because we were out to have water toss and water fights because it was in the middle of July. There's a part of it at night. We had music every night. We had DJ playing. We were able to we had 52 laptops that were donated that we were able to give to the community. We raffled off 3 or 4 every night unto the kids. We set them up for them. And so that was a true blessing. We had a couple people that cried because they didn't have them. And you would think because we have one, everybody doesn't have one. And the one with the little bow, that's my granddaughter. We registered everybody. We had registration every night. We registered approximately over 1,500, 1,250, but there was a lot of people that didn't. Actually, they were just sort of hanging out. And as you know, with the documentation stuff, a lot of people are leery of even giving you their name. And we had sports out there with the kids. And so this was our Summer Night Lights 2019. And, we were very honored to be able to have it for 2 years. I hope that we can have it again because our community, I think that they love us being there. And it would be sad if they would know that whatever happened, we did 2 years, we created all these relationships, and then we didn't come back no more.
Thank you, Mr. Alvaro. Now I'm going to start with the questions. Commissioner Calderon.
Sure. Thank you for your presentation. I know from experience, Summer Night Lights was, it's a big hit. I actually did not get the opportunity to go visit your site because we were having, Madison Park was going through its own Summer Night Lights, which was our first year. So I remember asking you for a couple of advice for that. So thank you. My question, just what I want to ask is, what are the days and hours that you're looking for next year?
Next year, we're compacted into 2 days, into the Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
And because what we've seen within the other days, they start the numbers just start diminishing quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so they were very impacted, and we're there from 5 to 10 o'clock at night. So very impacted night. It moves right along everything, and from 5 to 10 o'clock at night, Thursday and Friday. But we're also following up, doing follows up within the week with people that we've come in contact with.
Gotcha. Okay. And are you expecting the same amount of people to show up, or
Oh,
are you
yeah.
going to shoot for more?
Yeah, I think there'll be more because it's increased, and they already know. They see us there. They already know they're coming out. And the beautiful thing is that you got families meeting families that would never meet families, outside of this.
I gotcha. Cool. Well, I mean, I look forward to for this year's coming up and to check it out. So
Yeah,
thank you.
a lot of work though.
I feels, man. Gotcha. Thank you.
Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
Nati, how many days of actual services? So it's run 6 weeks?
It's run the week right after the 4th of July, so it's a total of 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it's twice a week during the time. Okay, so it's 12 actual days of services.
Yes.
Have you thought about expanding that?
We
Or-
can't. We talked about it at the very beginning, and you mean expanding it in days?
Or even other locations?
Yeah, there's a lot of work though. I mean, I got big vision, but right now I think that if the opportunity showed itself, it could happen.
Okay.
That's not a question. I would just have to gear myself towards it because you got volunteers. Yeah, there's a lot to it. So,
Thank you.
But definitely.
Thank you. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for the presentation. General question, what changes are you gonna have this year if the program is funded, based on your previous learnings from past years for this program? What's gonna be different?
I think one of the things that we need to pick up a little bit more is give more for the kids too. Add some more different game stuff for them. We do the arts and crafts, we do we're actually, to be quite honest with you, we're hitting every corner of it. We're hitting the sports, we're feeding them, we're doing the arts and crafts, we're having, the music for them. So we've tried to, and what we've done is we've modeled from LA. Is that we went to LA, I went to LA, I have friends in LA that are very involved with the Summer Night Lights at over 40 parks. So we've taken the model from a lot of them, and we just added some stuff to it. But it's pretty much a solid model. We didn't go and reinvent it, we sort of pulled it, and it's been working for over 12 years, I think, or 15 years in Los Angeles area.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. How
Let's
many?
just say one more question.
Sure.
So, Nati, just kind of on the question that our commissioner asked here, I actually had the privilege and honor to hang out with you and see the wonderful work that's being done. And I think as we're looking at these funds, we literally have a small amount of money. I mean, we're going to have to cut $2 million from what's being asked. And I think your program has shown a huge success. And I think what we're looking for a lot of organizations is, what are we doing more, or how are we reinventing? And one of the things is I looked at the community, and I look at the work and how embedded you guys are in. Would maybe even like 1 week doing like a community cleanup or a community beautification, and I think kind of just even simple things like that to add. Would that be something you'd be interested?
I don't know it all. I don't, and I'm so open to anything that's going to help our community. That's why I do what I do. I've done it for many years for nothing, and whatever that anybody could bring me is, hey, I'm open to it.
Excellent.
That's why we're there. That's why we're serving our communities.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Totally
Nati.
open to anything.
And so we don't have the same amount of monies that we have last year. That was the last year, 2 years ago. So we have, as a commissioner, we have a hard time, distributing the money, and because we need to analyze and the needs of each of the organizations. So just be aware that we don't have the same money than before. But
I'm a man of faith.
Have faith. Be aware of have faith. Good job, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you guys for all your
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we got Nati's house. How about,
So this is it, so you want to scroll down?
oh, so who's that person in the back?
Let's break, let's do official break. Yes, official 20 minutes. Yeah, there's no one here. She is here. They're waiting for people. Oh, they waiting for? Yes. Oh, okay.
We're gonna have officially our 20 minutes break because we're waiting for another person's, we're going kind of fast.
Are we waiting for?
You see, I'm good.
Waiting for Octa?
We're ahead of schedule, guys. We're just-
Okay.
Yeah, so where's that?
Okay, welcome to our next organizations, and now we're going to proceed with the presentations. Orange County Therapeutic, I'm sorry, I'm sick, Art Center. Can you come up? Thank you. How are you, Anna?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank
Good
you
afternoon.
for allowing us to do a presentation to all of you, for your patience and understanding. Okay, so my name is Dr. Ana Jimenez. For those of you that don't know me, I am the founder and executive director of the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center. And we've been in operation for 19 years. This year we turned 20, yay, right here in the city of Santa Ana. OCTA started a crime prevention and intervention program 3 years ago in the Willard neighborhood to provide arts enrichment. All of you have a handout, arts enrichment, youth and family counseling, parenting classes, and tutoring. Our program has been very successful and continues to grow each year. This year, we propose to replicate this program in the Carr neighborhood through Carr Intermediate School. Today, I have invited Principal Pedrosa to come and talk on behalf of Carr Intermediate School.
Good evening. My name is Jose Luis Pedrosa. I'm the proud principal of Carr Intermediate School, and I'm humbled and honored to be here tonight. So I serve a very needy community of students, and one of the biggest challenges is that our students are dealing with a lot of trauma, and so there's a huge need for them to really be able to deal with that trauma in a positive way. When students don't have the skills or the ability to process, the things that have happened to them and make meaning of them, then they start to, adopt maladaptive strategies, which tend to be graffiti, gangs, those kind of things. And so we are working really hard, and we're very excited about the possibility of working with the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center for them to provide that level of support for our kids. We're also excited. We have a very engaged parent community at Carr. We get 150 parents in the morning, a couple hundred at night, and our parents are always, asking for these kinds of services. So we feel really confident that we would have, lots of participants in this program. And when kids live through traumatic events, it's a family issue. It's not just a student issue. The parents are also processing those things as well. And so having the opportunity to really, come together and provide, a meaningful experience for them through the arts, I think would be super beneficial for my community that I serve. Thank you for your time.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having us again. And what we wanted, I can speak of our programming and how our curriculum addresses not just the academic development for our students, but it is also modeled and geared to address the social emotional development, which is an initiative that Mr. Pedrosa has started at his school. In addition to providing classes for our students, we are going to bring services for the parents. We will bring a mariachi strings class for the parents and a flamenco class. And the idea is that the students and the parents separately but concurrently will be taking these classes so that ultimately, once they reach a certain level of proficiency, will come together to learn together and to perform throughout the city of Santa Ana together.
Okay, thank you. And now we're going to go on with the questions.
Sure.
Commissioner Calderon, please.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is, in regards to just like the funds, what are some of the what is it called, the things that are going to be purchased for like the kids? That's like more of my question.
Where the services will be provided?
Yeah.
So, good question. The services will be provided both at the school as well as at OCTAC. We give the families opportunities to do programming at the school, and on the weekends, if the school is closed, then they can come to our agency, because we're open 6 days a week.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I really enjoyed being able to go through the facilities and take a look at the programs and being able to see how people were interacting live with the programs. That was really beneficial.
Thank you.
It feels like a really great program.
Thank you.
When I was looking at the proposal, and it may be because I'm still learning how to go through these, it looks like 95% of what you're asking for is for staff salary. And then you have $1,000
programs
allocated to and you're looking to buy instruments and things of that nature.
For program supplies.
You stated that these instruments are very expensive and you rely on a lot of donations. What does that, tentatively, what do you think that $1,000 is going to really be applied to?
So we do have a lot of donated instruments, and so we most likely will use the funds to refurbish the instruments, to fix them up, and that way we can leave some instruments at the schools that where we're working, that they can keep there, and we don't have to bring them back and forth, because we do get a lot of instrumental donations, and we'd like to leave some instruments at the schools so that the parents and the youth can practice during the week. And so most likely that $1,000 will be used, instead of purchasing more, for fixing up instruments.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Now I want to go on the other side with Commissioner Garcia.
I do not have any questions. Thank you all for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tardy.
Yes, I also took the tour of your facility, and also at Willard School, there was a program. Was very impressed with both the students at Willard. It's an after-school class,
Yes.
dance class, and they're very involved in their dance class. And some of the parents were there, and they related how the dance and the association with the other students has really helped them. And so I was very impressed. And also the tour of your facility, there's just so much going on there that helps the parents and the kids.
Thank you, Commissioner. And after this presentation, we're going to have the principal from Willard. She will be here too. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Perez.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Anna, I'm a little surprised as I look back at your history with CDBG funding. I'm very familiar with your organization and know the work that you do.
Thank you.
And how instrumental, specifically the work at Willard. 2 years ago, you did not meet your goals and objectives. Last year, you did not meet your goals and objectives.
Oh, yes, we did. We did, Commissioner Perez.
So I have my data that's been provided by state or city staff showing me that it was 125 that were supposed to be met and only 100 were met. I'll double check to see if our numbers are correct.
Okay.
But what I'm showing is they were not met. And I know last year we had this conversation as well. I have a very, very difficult task of eliminating $2 million of funding. I'm very familiar with Carr Intermediate and the work that needs to be there, and personally had done some work through our gang intervention and restorative justice staff, and I actually think Carr is a school site that is very much in need of these types of services, and I appreciate the principal being here, which means a lot to me as I put this proposal and I grade this. The partnership is huge, knowing there's a new wellness center, hearing from your principal how many numbers of parents are going to be there. I really need you to understand, and somehow, and if things go the right direction, show that you're not just meeting the minimal numbers as well.
Sure.
I mean, Carr Intermediate needs these services.
Of course.
And they need organizations and nonprofits like you to help support the work. There's limited dollars in education. So I really hope, as you move forward, you're able to provide that stuff. Now, I know the leadership of this principal, and I know he'll make sure you go above and beyond your numbers here. But just please be careful. I didn't get a chance to tour the facility at the last visit, but Dr. Anna, I've heard nothing but esteemed work that you do, and I know, and I understand there's times it's difficult, but please, 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 even if you had the 125, I mean, we're having organizations in here that are doubling their services, and I know that will be an easy task at Carr.
Yes, and I want you to know the good news is that, yes, in the past we did have challenges getting the income verification form back from the parents, even though we were serving more than 100 families. But this year we have worked very hard with the administration at Willard School, and the good news is, and I think David can verify these numbers, for quarter one, we reported 52. Quarter two, which we submit this week, is 62. Quarter three, which we have already surpassed 50%. Our goal this year is 200. Right now, if we count the students that we enrolled in January, we are at 164 students enrolled, including some parents. So that's 82% of our target goal without counting quarter four. So this year, for sure, we are going to surpass our goal, Commissioner Perez, I assure you, because this year we learned how to work together, both OCTA and the school administration, to help gather all that data so we can document that and give back to the city for HUD purposes.
Well, like I said, I know the principal behind you, and I know very much that the work will move forward. Just know this, sometimes we're limited because of how we grade. We have a rubric.
Sure.
And what happens is when organizations come up here and don't meet their units of service, they're docked a certain amount of points. So there's only so many points that are available. And I really am trying to help you understand that even you can have the best proposal out there, but if you're docked so many points, the funds are not going to be allocated, So I really do appreciate and glad to see the district here in support and see my colleague sitting behind you. I'm very happy to see her in a couple seconds present. So, again, thank you for your numbers that you're up and going. And again, continue the good work. And
Thank you. But rest assured that those numbers are in this year and they will continue to grow. So nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any more questions? You already presented two.
Two proposals. Yeah.
Oh.
Would you
She
like to
already
say
did.
This first one, she has a second one.
Okay.
Mr. Pedrosa?
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. I didn't hear the bell ringing. I like the light better.
Is it over? Is it done?
For
Car.
Yes.
Okay.
For Carr.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Yes.
time and your consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. So now I'd like to introduce to you Principal Benavides from Willard Intermediate School, Principal Benavides, and School Counselor Kelly.
Welcome.
So, this is the same crime prevention and intervention program, but we do have a history of 3 years with Willard, and we've done some amazing things there, and the students are incredible, the leadership is incredible. I'm gonna let them talk because I already did an introduction with the other. So, Principal Benavides, Kelly.
Please do remember that you have 5 minutes for the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay. So at Willard, the grant has been absolutely amazing. We've been able to start a dance program at our school, and OCTAC, with the grant, funds our dance instructor. She is a graduate from UCI. She majored in dance. She is fantastic, and we run an advanced dance group and a beginning dance group after school. And tomorrow we are actually leaving, this is not paid for by the grant, this is a donation, but we're able to take all of these students to the mountains for a dance retreat. So we're spending 3 days, starting this weekend, in the mountains to do an intensive dance workshop where the students will be learning different performance skills, technical skills, and just have, kids getting to go to camp basically and enjoy, build team skills and have that experience. But through our dance instructor, we've also, she choreographs different pieces throughout the year that we use. We're a turnaround art school, so we get invited to, for example, at the end of last year, we got invited to the Wallace Annenberg theater to perform a piece that was about family separation. And so our students were able to perform this piece in front of lots of people from Hollywood and Turnaround Arts, and it was a really amazing experience for them. So not only do we have the dance program through OCTAC, we also have tutoring. So we have a tutor that comes 3 days a week and works with students one-on-one. So a lot of our students don't get that opportunity to get that one-on-one time because they're in a classroom with so many other students, even after school. The teachers that stay after school, sometimes they'll have 20, 30 students staying for tutoring. But with this tutor provided, he really builds relationships with students and is able to give them specific content tutoring. The other wonderful thing about this grant and OCTAC is they provide a teacher every day for 3 periods. That teacher comes in and does pull-out groups to teach us stop motion in one of our in our film class. So he pulls out a group of students and teaches them stop motion. And those skills, they were able to put together different art pieces and show them in the school, and also feature them in our talent show at the end of the year. So just having that teacher sits and plans instruction and curriculum with the regular classroom teacher, and it really adds a lot to the class, and the kids really enjoy that. So we are really happy to have the support.
So, hello, thank you for having us. The other thing about this grant that's amazing, not only are we supporting our students, but we're supporting the community itself, the parents. Amazing how the parents have been lit up with kind of art, music, guitar, flamingo, and this is all based because of this amazing grant that's coming into Willard Intermediate. Because what makes our kid and our kids happy is when our community is actually working together. And because of this grant, the kids are able to work with their parents. We have art nights, family art nights, and I know in our future it's gonna be amazing if we continue with this grant and the support that we're getting from this amazing organization. Oh, yeah.
Something else I forgot was we do receive it supports the funding of our Olive Crest therapist that works with both parents and, well, mainly with students, but also is able to refer parents to their program, and so our students get an extra therapist, and she's always full. She's full of students, so that really helps with mental health issues.
This is a partnership that we have with other community partners that do mental health. such as Omid and Olive Crest. So with Willard, we have 3 years of experience, and I think we should open it to questions now, right?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, Dr.
Sure.
Anahan. Now, I'm going to start with Commissioner Calderon.
First one?
You're the number one.
So going that way? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for your presentation. I got the privilege to actually see the performance that the students had at Willard.
Good.
My question is, just in regards to like the dance instructor, and because that's what I was able to see. So is the CAR curriculum per se the same as Willard's? Are they like exactly the same, or is it two
No,
different things?
they're going to be a little bit different depending on the needs of the students.
Gotcha.
So if this, the grant for CAR is approved, then we'll do a needs assessment and we'll ask the students what do they want.
Got it.
Obviously, we do have, some music and dance instructors that we can bring to them, specific services, but we definitely will do a needs assessment for CAR.
And then my other question is, how many new dances are they doing, or like for per school year per se?
I think they're preparing several. I know last year they worked very hard on the, what was it, the title of the walls. And this year it was about family separation. So, every year they prepare the choreography for different dances, for their talent show, for different opportunities they have in the community.
So there's more than one dance per school?
Yes.
There's about 4 to 5.
Perfect, okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Fraser, please.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is actually for Principal Benavides. So looking at the breakdown of how you've requested funds, it looks like there's either increases or creation of salaries, as well as some funds to go for supplies. What do you feel is the biggest deficit that Willard has experienced over the last 3 years that you think that this $1,000 will address?
Okay, so first, I'm a brand new principal at Willard, but what I've seen that the deficit is that we need more money for the instruction. The instruction is crucial because now that I'm here, I just started in August, the support that we're getting through the grant and with people coming into our stop motion, the actual dance teacher, that in itself is amazing because it really helps us get to more kids, and not only more kids, but get to more of the community members. And for me, it's so important to bring in the community to our schools to educate them. And without those people that are specifically trained and know specific about art, about dance, about stop motion, we wouldn't be able to give that to our kids.
I appreciate that. I was asking specifically about the amount that's set aside for supplies. What do you feel is the biggest deficit that money will address? Ms. Benavides. Ms. Benavides.
Well, she's the new principal. The question would be interested.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, well, again, because this is a proposal and we want to see what the outcome of the proposal is. If we do get the grant, then at that time we can sit down with Principal Benavides. I agree with what she said, that the majority of the funds is allocated for instruction and the $1,000 is for program supplies. And again, since we have a lot of donated instruments that are used, we want to repair, and it's expensive to repair them, but it's cheaper than buying new ones.
But we also have like family nights, and when we do have family art nights, we do need a lot of supplies to supply for art and for music and for the instruments that are going to be provided for the family nights.
Yeah. Thank you. I forgot about that.
Thank
Because
you.
there is always a lot high interest in art activities for those family nights. You're right. I forgot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to go with Commissioner Garcia, please.
I do not have any questions, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Tardif.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, and as I mentioned before, I did go on the tour of Willard, and along with your facility, and I was very impressed, like I mentioned before, with the dance that the students do and how they interact with each other and with their parents. It's very moving.
Thank
Very
you for
impressive.
coming to visit them and listening to the parents also express their emotions. Some of them got very
yes.
emotional, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez?
So I'm very familiar with this school, this site, this location, and know the wonderful staff that you're working with. I'm going to echo my struggles, and I know we have some new leadership in principals, which I've had the honor and privilege to work and know how dedicated she is. And I know this community being the need. I did confirm our numbers, it's extremely difficult as a commissioner to continue to fund a program that is not meeting its numbers. And I think the hard part is this, and before you say anything, I know the work's being done, and I understand our federal contracts and how difficult it is to be able to account a student or a parent. But just like in education, if we don't have measured outcomes and we don't meet these goals and objectives, then we're going to be looked upon. Now, you have some new leadership and some opportunity. I know our wellness centers are opening up. But I'm letting you know right now, the people sitting next to you are fighting for the money. I need them to also be fighting for the paperwork, because the work is needed. The people are there. That's where I need the work, is the partnership, because the district has the data. The district has the information. Right. The district, can provide that. And if we're funding these programs, they're going to do the work. Yeah. So please,
This year, they have been amazing, and I cannot thank them enough. As I said, Q1, we submitted 52 names. Q2, we're submitting over 60. And Q3, we already have 40 students enrolled in art, plus all the other students. We're going to be definitely surpassing our goal. I know for sure. So rest assured, Commissioner Perez, that we are definitely going to meet our grant goals.
And the other thing that I would want to add to it is that I feel there's a lack of collaboration within that community. There's a charter school, which is a sanctioned charter school of the district. And I brought this up last time, is I really think there should be more partnerships with all three of these communities, because, again, it's going to allow for additional services. They all live in that community. And in my opinion, they really should be doing some more after-school cross, training and support, which really would open the doors.
I agree with you. And one of the biggest challenges that we faced was parent engagement and educating the parents about how safe their information would be with us, with the financial intake forms. And what we've done, we are now attending meetings and are partnering with St. Peter's Church, if you're familiar with that. It's right across the street, to be part of, what's the name of the organization that?
The task force?
The organization that was working with
Illumination Foundation?
the Illumination Foundation. So I agree with you. We are
Listen, you have all the right partners, but
Right.
but the paperwork's not being done. Take care of it. Thank you.
All I can tell you, to my fellow commissioners, that I know Dr. Anna Hammy for a very, very long time. Been participating in her programs, and I know that we all have our up and downs, and I know, Anna, that you can do your goals, you can meet the goals.
Yes.
So good luck, and we're going to do our best to fund you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate everyone's feedback. Thank you, Commissioner Aguinaga, for your words. And, we definitely have our heart and mind into this, both of these grants, because these are very communities that really they are in hard, need for us to provide these services. So
I
thank
would
you
like
very
to
much.
specify to my fellow commissioners that Dr. Anna Hammy does the special education kids. They used to
Also,
help
yes.
the kids?
Yeah,
The
we
special
also
education?
have special needs students too. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
you.
Great and great job.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you. Now, we're going to go. May I have Orange County United Way come to the podium, please?
Madam Chair, may I have permission to say something?
Yes.
So just to let all the commissioners know, when their organizations are applying for supplies, we grant them permission to use CDBG funds for supplies that are throwaway supplies, like art supplies, glue, scissors, that kind of stuff. And that's different than equipment. So no nonprofit is allowed to purchase any type of equipment. So a musical instrument will be considered equipment, which is an ineligible use of CDBG funds.
So does that mean even the repair of that equipment is an eligible use of those funds?
So the repair will be a service, so that is eligible.
Okay.
But we can't purchase.
Okay, so the supplies that they have cannot be used for the repair or the purchase of that equipment or service?
So when we work with them on creating their budgets, we would do another line item for a service, and we'll separate that. So that's part of our negotiation once the money's awarded.
So that I understand, I'm clear to tell them, that means that money that they stated was allocated could not be used for instrument repair or purchase. It had to be used for throwaway supplies throughout the course of the year. Is that correct?
No.
Other supplies.
No. So the money that they're requesting cannot be used to purchase equipment.
Or for service.
No, it could be used for service.
They can use it for service, it just can't buy the brand new equipment. But if they had something existing, they could have a contract to fix it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may begin.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to give you additional information on Spark Point OC. My name is Leslie Prado, and I'm the income manager over at Orange County United Way. Orange County United Way is requesting $66,000 a year, a total of $132,000 from the city of Santa Ana. Sorry. Spark Point will serve 60 low-income families per year that qualify for assistance under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. The funding from CBDG will support a portion of the program that will go towards financial literacy classes, as well as provide emergency assistance for rent, utilities, and moving costs for homeless families. Spark Point OC is aligned with the economic development goal of the city of Santa Ana. Spark Point OC Financial Empowerment Centers pair individuals and low-income families with a financial coach for up to 12 months to create a personal financial plan that will focus on increasing income, decreasing debt, building assets, and improving credit scores. An array of services are provided in-house. The reason why we provide as many services in-house are because a lot of our clients are currently facing many barriers. So to try to eliminate as many barriers as possible, the services are provided in one location. We take on a two-generational approach to try to tackle intergenerational poverty by aligning and coordinating programs that will better serve the parents, better serve the students, and the parents and students together. Spark Point case managers try to eliminate as many barriers as possible that clients are currently facing. Like previously mentioned, we do provide many services in-house, some of which include financial literacy classes, access to mainstream banking products or services, direct hardship funding, free tax preparation, and free transportation to and from work, to and from school, and to and from partner appointments. Each individual that is referred through Spark Point must go through an initial intake. During this intake, we really try to get to know the client on a personal level, as well as understand where they are financially right now. So based off of this will ultimately depend on how long they're enrolled in the program. Spark Point is one of the only financial coaching programs that offers free one-on-one financial coaching. A financial coach and a case manager meets with the client on a monthly basis. One, to ensure that the client is on track with their financial goals, but also to ensure that the client is building healthy financial habits that will ultimately lead to long-term financial stability. As you can see on the screen, we work collaboratively with an array with many nonprofit agencies, some of which are located in Santa Ana. In 2012, Brunel Tumarbayas, our Senior Director of Economic Opportunity, brought Spark Point down to Orange County. I have also been part of Spark Point since 2012, initially as a financial coach, and I oversee all 5 sites within the county. Since the program's inception, we have been able to serve over 3,700 individuals, 564 of which have completed and gone through the entire program. Collectively, we can proudly say that they have reduced their debt by $1.6 million, which is an average of $3,000 per client. We have 5 Spark Point centers throughout the county, 4 of which are in schools. 3 of these are in Anaheim, and 1 in the city of Santa Ana at Washington Elementary, inside one of their wellness centers. We also have 1 community center in Westminster. Spark Point was strategically placed at Washington Elementary because they provide a great opportunity for us to better serve the McKinney-Vento population. The Spark Point Center at Washington Elementary serves low-income, homeless, and housing insecure families. 87% of the students at Washington Elementary are considered low-income. 100% of the students of the families that we serve through the Spark Point program qualify for free or reduced price meals. The average income of the Spark Point client last year was under $25,000. So, as previously mentioned, a lot of our clients face many barriers. The biggest one is finding an affordable apartment. Currently, our emergency fund has been able to help many clients with short gap assistance. So we're able to pay a utility bill to keep the lights on, pay a portion of the rent just so they don't get evicted. CBDG funding would transform many lives. With this assistance, we would be able to help our low-income families move into their own apartment. Thank you. I will gladly take any questions now.
Thank you. Now, you may stand in there because we will get some questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation and thank you for printing it out. I was able to follow through. No questions at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm just curious, seeing as though the access to your program is through a school, how would other people in the community that may not have children but may still fit into your demographic that you serve, how would they associate with you? Where would they see your advertisements or your outreach?
So the Spark Point program at Washington Elementary is specific to the parents of the students at that school.
So that's the only demographic that you serve?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for your presentation. So on page 2 of your presentation, it states, and I know you cover a wide area, but it says that you serve 120 Santa Ana residents. You have served 120. And that's all parents, you said, or is just, in what locations? Is it a mix of schools or just different types of?
Yeah, so the 120 on page 2 are the clients that we will serve with the CDBG
That you will
grant.
serve,
Correct.
okay.
And these would be parents at Washington Elementary.
So just specific, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tardis.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions now.
Thank you. Commissioner Perez.
Yes. You state that 100% of the students are McKinley-Vento students?
Correct.
How do you define that?
We confirmed with the Principal Ochoa from Washington Elementary.
So the principal stated 100% of their students were McKinley-Vento.
Correct.
Do you know the definition of McKinney-Vento?
Yes, yes. And we confirmed, so we have our own process to confirm that they are McKinney-Vento. One of them being that they have to be classified as McKinney-Vento through the district. Otherwise, we can't serve the parents.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Self-reported.
Will you like?
It's a self-reported, yeah, the McKinney-Vento status, but also we do actual.
Can you
income.
get to the
I'm sorry.
microphone,
We
please?
also, in addition to confirming the McKinney-Vento status, we also do verify actual income information of the clients, and across the board, our clients have had an average income of $25,000 a year or less.
Thank you.
That's across all sites.
Yeah, being in the county office, I don't know of any school in the entire county that's 100% McKinley-Vento.
Well, I think, specifically our clients are 100% McKinney-Vento.
Oh, the clients, not of the schools in there. Thank you.
I'm sorry, that was my confusion.
I was
Sorry.
like,
No.
that was two different things.
Sorry.
Because when you look at students receive financial meals, I would argue that is more accurate, 98 to 100% of that
Well,
pop.
That slide is referencing our clients. The 100%,
Beautiful.
100%,
Thank you. Thank you for the
100% is our
clarification.
client. Because she said, I think 87% is the low income.
Yes.
Across
I
the
thank you.
school, but 100% of our clients are low income.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. That's very, very, very important.
Sure.
Now, where do you see the homeless? You're talking about $132,000 total for homeless prevention. So how do you find, what do you do
Are you referring
for
to
the
what-
homeless?
So many of our families are, again, they're classified as McKinney-Vento, but by that, we have a family of 5 living in 1 bedroom, family of 5 living in a living room. So
Now
that's
they're
how-
not homeless. I mean, I understand homeless is like on the streets, you know what I mean? So that's,
Correct,
I
yes,
was
and we do have
confused.
families who are living in a car, who are living in a van with children, who are living from motel to motel. So it's, the spectrum of homelessness varies with our clients. But yes, car, motel, double, tripled up in an apartment. It just varies.
Yeah, and the school definition will fall under the McKinley-Vento. There's specific guidelines, restrictions within a school setting, those that multiple families in a home. So they do fall in through the federal guidelines of an educational.
Right, and also what this program does is largely homeless prevention. So there's a family that's renting 1 room, and they may not be able to pay that rent. So they then, next month could be literally homeless as you're envisioning. And so this funding would help to pay their rent or possibly get them into their own apartment. And our data shows that once a family knows they have a roof over their head, knows where their children are sleeping at night, then they can focus on, job readiness and other aspects that will be, eventually get them to be financially stable.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, we have another question from.
Sorry about that. I noticed that you partner with Mercy House Living Centers, and I'm curious, the population that are classified as homeless through the McKinney-Vento, what is the percentage that you find of the families that you're able to refer into places that Mercy House may manage, or their homeless shelters that they have access to? How many? What's your percentage of people that get referred into those to help thwart that homelessness?
So it's about 5 to 15%, and of that, maybe 2 or 3% will get approved, meaning they'll have a place to live. So it's very minimal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to turn the gavel to my chairpersons and the students.
Thank you, Ms. Aguinaga. Just a reminder for those who presented, thank you for being here today. We do offer validation. I didn't get it validated last time I left, so it was here. Thank you so much. Please get your validation. Next in line, can you please have the Public Law Center step forward? And I don't know if this was mentioned either. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to present their presentation and 2 minutes for comments from our fellow commission.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
I have a procedural question. I just click the mouse? Or, oh, down here. Oh, these arrows. Got it. Thank you. Good afternoon, members of the commission. My name is Ugochi Annabera Nicholson, and I'm the directing attorney of the Housing and Homelessness Prevention Unit at Public Law Center. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We've been around since 1981, and we have been recipients of the CDBG grant in the past. We provide free, with those dollars, we help to provide free legal services to low-income residents and to other nonprofits in Orange County. Many of our clients include working immigrant families, individuals, and seniors. And we are the preeminent legal aid organization in Orange County that provides services to undocumented individuals. many of the individuals who are undocumented in our county would not be able to receive services or access to justice and the courts but for the Public Law Center. So our services are broad-based. We provide counseling. We individually represent individuals in a wide variety of cases. We educate the community about their legal rights so that they are armed with the information so that they are not defrauded or duped into not knowing what their legal rights are as individuals in this county. We also engage in strategic policy advocacy. We look at the policies that are causing homelessness and the lack of affordable housing access in Orange County. And we try to work collaboratively with jurisdictions and our partners to figure out whether or not we can change those policies to ensure that they are fully serving the needs of everybody in the county, regardless of income, regardless of status, and so that they can have a full and fair opportunity to thrive in this community. And oftentimes, we don't see eye to eye with those we're adversaries with, so we engage in what's called impact litigation to challenge societal injustices, such as the lack of affordable housing, homelessness issues, people who are being attacked for no other reason other than the fact that they are undocumented and being threatened with eviction because of that status. So we engage in impact litigation to make sure that we are enforcing the laws that are to serve the needs of the community and every Californian. In 2016, we went through what's called a strategic planning process to really figure out what we wanted to do as a housing unit. So we came together and decided to put together a vision statement and a mission statement. Like, what are we going to be known for in terms of providing homelessness and housing services to low-income individuals in Orange County? So we came up with the vision statement of we want people to have safe, dignified, secure, and affordable housing. And we're going to try to do this by preventing homelessness, preserving and expanding affordable housing, protecting housing rights, and empowering communities. In our housing unit, we provide advice and counsel, we conduct brief services, we represent tenants in eviction defense cases and other types of cases involving affordable housing access and preservation. And we also engage in the policy advocacy that I spoke about earlier. If we are funded with these CDBG funds for this upcoming cycle, in the last cycle, we were able to serve our families that we identified to the city that we were able to serve. So we served about 35 families. So that translated into about 300 some odd people. And that translated into about 300 some odd people, and we plan to continue those outreach efforts, identification efforts with communities to determine what steps we can take to protect tenants given recent changes to state legislation that are expanding services and protections for tenants in the state of California. And so I'll defer to the presentation that explains the type of services that we will be able to provide, and I open it up for questions.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm going to start at my left with Commissioner Garcia.
I do not have any questions. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Commissioner Tardif.
How do you facilitate or encourage affordable housing? What do you do there? And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. We try to encourage affordable housing in our organization many different ways, either through advocating publicly with jurisdictions, through the policies that they have created to make sure that that they are ensuring that they provide affordable housing set-asides for individuals with new developments that are coming through for consideration within a particular jurisdiction. So, for example, in the city of Santa Ana, if a particular developer comes seeking to create a property within a development within the city limits, trying to make sure that affordability restrictions and
are considered. The needs of the clients in need of affordable housing are considered. And then we also engage in impact litigation and direct representation in court of tenants who are being afflicted and facing loss of their potential unit due to an eviction. Because it's very difficult to locate housing once you've been evicted.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Perez.
Yes. I just want our fellow commissioners to know that this organization every year has met their units of service. They're an excellent organization, have been a pillar in our community. Thank you for your presentation. Wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, you guys gonna have it? Commissioner Calderon?
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I've seen you in multiple meetings that we've had. I have no questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. As an affordable housing tenant, what are some tangible things that I, as a tenant, would be able to point to that say the Public Law Center is working on my behalf? What are actual examples? I know there's a lot of behind the scenes work and it's amazing work, but a lot of the tenants want to say, you know, how does this directly affect me in the grand scheme of things?
Yes, thank you for your question, Commissioner Frazier. As an example of tangibility would be protecting a family from an eviction, from the loss of their affordable housing, which we were able to do within this grant cycle period with CDBG money. But not for our intervention, a family of 4 would have been homeless on Christmas Day because they were being evicted during that time period. And so through our advocacy, by identifying that they had protections that they didn't even know that they had, and informing them of their rights and representing them in court and advocating for them with the opposing attorney, we were able to save their housing. That's an example of tangibility in terms of form of direct advocacy. In terms of impact litigation and impact advocacy, going before the City Council and speaking on behalf of tenants who are in need of affordable housing related to an affordable housing unit development in the city of Santa Ana to make sure that that development it would be approved so that when built, it would be available to individuals in need of affordable housing. And then in terms of community education, partnering with agencies such as the Latino Health Access, Tenants United Santa Ana, and other community partners to educate individuals about forthcoming changes such as AB 1482, SB 329, and other protections for tenants that did not exist and made it very difficult to litigate these cases in court because we just didn't have the sufficient protections that we needed for people who are in private housing trying to seek affordable housing so that they can make sure that they have a place to live, have a place to have their kids come back at night when they come from school, have a place to come back when they come back from work. So we are able, with CDBG money, to use our resources to provide access to justice, access to the courts, and be a voice for people who are in need of affordable housing.
Thank you.
Commissioner Aguinaga.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. How do you advertise your services, or how people know that you have those services for the community?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. We have, because lawyers are restricted in terms of the way that they can advertise, we partner a lot with community members. So we make sure that the community partners know about our services. We work closely with the courts. So we have self-help clinics in mostly all of the courts located here in Orange County. And we also have a medical legal partnership where we work with local hospitals to provide services, and so we inform individuals of our need or of our availability. And we also provide a clinic and clinical services in local homeless shelters, and through that we've actually been able to identify homeless residents from the city of Santa Ana in need of legal services, many of whom did not know that they had an important legal issue that would have gone unanswered, unaddressed without legal help.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Sorry.
Just keep in mind we have folks here and we're in the queue. So my question is just very short and very simple. Are you working with the Delhi Center? Is there like a sub? That's different, right?
Yeah, that grant is with our COLAP unit, our consumer unit, but they have referred people to our agency for services.
Great, thank you. And really quickly, Mr. Frazier, question?
Just to tail off of what she was explaining in the answer that you gave to me previously, what type of, or do you believe that there would be merit in having some type of workshop for people who receive housing, affordable housing subsidies, or looking into affordable housing throughout the year to empower them to know that they have these rights outside of your current channels of outreach?
Yes, we always take the opportunity at Public Law Center to educate tenants. In our housing unit, we actually give about 4 presentations per year to the community, and we partner with local community agencies and community partners to provide that technical assistance, because the law is ever changing. The law is always constantly changing, so we stay up to date through our partners upstate, and so that we can inform the community at large here.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next in line, can we please have Pure Games?
Thank you. As many of you know, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. My name's Tony Everett with Pure Game, and I'm actually going to talk to you today about why you should consider planting a tree of compassion with Pure Game through this program. The Pure Game team is made up of a group of dedicated individuals, all of whom use sport to create opportunities for these kids to have and engage with positive role models. And these positive role models help these kids understand that they have got worth and value in this life. Most of the people that work for us come from the communities that we serve, so they live in these same communities and so understand firsthand the issues that these kids face on a regular daily basis. We provide schools with a positive youth development program that uses sport to create positive youth engagement. The idea is we shy away from the regular competitive style of sports and use more of the positive encouragement-based facility programming. We want to create a safe, inclusive environment for more kids to join in on the fun and to be active and to play. When we create that positive, safe, inclusive environment, we then deliver a character education curriculum, life skills curriculum, and leadership curriculum. The idea behind the program is we want to create in these kids good, upstanding individuals who can actually participate positively in the community and in their schools. Most of our school programs, our principals, tell us how much more engaged the students are when Pure Game is on campus, how much more their attendance improves, and how much more the grades are actually improving within their schools. We've had stories of kids coming through the program who have now graduated. One child from juvenile hall actually has come out of juvenile hall, and he's now working for us as a full-time field champion, serving in the schools that he came from as an elementary kid. And this is the type of thing that we're looking to do. We want to create change. And we create lasting change by creating communities where kids feel that they belong, that they feel safe, whether there is a positive role model, someone who is there who is showing them compassion, showing them that they care. The driving force behind what we do is we want kids to understand their worth and value in life so they can actually do something with themselves. The money from the CBDG grant would actually go into Santa Ana schools. We've grown over the last year. We're now at 68 school sites across Orange County, running 96 programs. Some school sites have multiple programs at their schools. We now have 10 schools within Santa Ana. We're looking to double that this next year to 20. We actually have a target list of schools to go after. Some of the schools, we actually have a fee-for-service program, and so some of the schools can't afford the full fee, and so we subsidize that from grants and from funders and et cetera, fundraising events. And the idea is if a school can come up with 2,000, then we'll match that somewhere with 5,000. It costs $7,000 for a full school year of programming, and that's to put one of our field champions, they're our staff members, on site, on campus, running our program. When we actually get on site and start teaching them the life skills, what we're really teaching them is the soft skills in life, as they would say. So we want to teach them compassion, cooperation, encouragement, respect, and responsibility. One of the ways that we do this is experiential learning. So if you think about self-control, teaching kids self-control is challenging. Teaching adults self-control is just as challenging. So we actually play a game of walking soccer. Kids actually have to walk while they're playing soccer. If they get caught running, then we come up with a consequence for them, and they carry out that consequence. And when you see that kid go to run but stop themselves, we're then able to say, hey, that feeling is self-control. And then we'll look at challenging them, saying, what does that feeling look like in your classroom, in your home, and in your community? And so we really challenge them to think outside the box there. Ultimately, with our success, more schools are wanting our services and programs. We actually have a waiting list right now. And so that's what the funding here would go to represent, is those 10 schools within Santa Ana that we're looking to grow into, so we can serve more kids in Santa Ana. Every school is about 100 and 120 kids. So we're looking around about, do the math, 10 times 100. That's the kind of count that we're looking at within the school growth that we're looking at next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Everett, for your presentation. I think last year you had a PowerPoint, right?
I think I may have done, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah. Thought I'd just wing it this time.
On my right-hand side with Commissioner Calderon. Strike two.
Okay. No, thank you for your presentation. Honestly, just as you were talking, I went online and I was just looking at your website to see what get a little bit more information, also of like the line of work that you do. Honestly, I'm really impressed, and I think it's really great how you're engaging in physical activity to the students. And you actually answered most of my questions, which is how many kids are enrolled. One of the questions that I do have though is, if a student wants to participate, let's say they do have the money, how much would it cost?
Doesn't cost the kids anything. Students don't pay a thing.
Got it.
Any of our programs is free for our kids.
Got it. And is it co-ed or is it? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, because we don't focus on that competitive nature, we make it more open. It's more positive based, more encouraging. We just get kids coming out there and playing. And we get a lot of kids saying, oh, I can't play soccer. And it's like, great, neither do we. We just kick the ball around. Come stand around and have some fun with us.
Got it. And involving with, I'm just going around like inclusion. What about if there was like a student with or a kiddo with special needs?
Mm-hmm.
Would they be?
Yep. We have lots of stories of those kids coming into our program. Again, because it's not competitive, because it's inclusive in that way that we're not. There's no screaming, shouting. There's no coaching and teaching of skills and drills. These kids can come out and be who they are and just play. And so we're really about kind of encouraging them and then using that to teach them their own skills and strengths and how they might apply that in school and beyond.
Got it. Thank you for your presentation. I'd actually like to visit one of your sites and check it out. So thank you so much.
Open anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fraser.
Thank you for your presentation. I do remember your PowerPoint from the last time that you were in front of us, and so I do thank you for that. With your inclusion, looking at inclusion, are you a member of the Safe Zone project for LGB youth and students?
No, we're not a member of that, but that would be something that I would like to look into. We are members of something called Street Football World. It's a big international organization, and they're doing what they're calling a Play Proud program. And so we're introducing that into our program as well. So I'd like to find out about that Safe Zone thing. I'll look into that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Agnaga.
Thank you for your presentation, but I get no further questions. You already asked.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. You okay?
Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, please, take
Quick
care.
question, in terms of the curriculum that you teach on site, to
Yes.
each of the schools, do you customize it to each population? I know you mentioned that you're in 68 sites throughout Orange County. The kids in Santa Ana, do you customize it to them?
No, not really. It's because it's a program that's on skills that they need in life. Anyone could do with these skills. Yeah, it's compassion, cooperation, self-control, and so where we change it is middle to high school. So elementary's got a curriculum, middle's got a curriculum, and high school's got a curriculum.
So it's age appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Tardif?
Thank you. I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez?
Thank you. Tony, I just want to say thank you for coming back. I know, unfortunately, when there's less opportunity for funding, it's difficult. And I just really want to just say, Tony's been a champion of never giving up. And he's been before us many times. And hopefully things work out the way things go forward. But Tony, just thank you for fighting. Thank you for wanting to serve our community and the work that you do. I really appreciated it. And I actually liked your presentation better this time, just speaking from the heart. Thank you.
I prefer the photos, but it's okay.
He's the chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Everett, quick question. So I was looking at your proposal, and it says that you want to scale up to 7,500 students, correct?
Yeah.
And you're currently at 10 sites?
In Santa
Ana.
across Orange County, yeah.
But we're just focusing in Santa
yes.
Ana. That's
So
where the
in
funds
Santa
will
Ana, we're looking to add another 10 sites. Not all of the funding for those 10 sites will come from this program. We've got funding from other sources. So we want to be in 20 schools in Santa Ana, which actually would equate to more like about 2,500 kids here in Santa Ana.
That'd be still like 2,000 students. You'd be way underneath your 7,000.
I think that was probably, the 7,000 was more Orange County wide.
Specifically just for Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that might have been an error on my part if I put that
maybe
number kids in there. Yeah, we're looking for about 2,500 kids here in Santa Ana.
My only question was if you were able to scale up, and I'm glad that you have young instructors who are looking to find a way to connect with other youth. But other than that, thank you for your persistence, and hopefully we can come with a decision later on. But thank you, Mr. Everett.
Thank you.
Next, can we please have Relámpago del Cielo? I was reading it wrong then. I was seeing.
What's my name?
Tony.
You totally have it in front of you. Right?
Calderon.
It's the beard.
That's where you're gonna. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
It said, you can't remember somebody's name.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you very much. My name is Luz Mendez. I am a board member with Relámpago del Cielo. With me this evening is the artistic director of our company, Ms. Marlene Peña Marin, and two of our students. I'm a board member with Relámpago, but I'm also a retired teacher. After 45 years, I started my teaching career in Santa Ana Unified School District at Wilson Elementary School, known as the Underground School. At the same time, this was like 74, 75 school year, a colleague of mine, we started taking classes at the community college where they offered folklorico classes. Amazing, never had that opportunity. We started taking classes. Who was our instructor? Rosie Peña. Little did she know, 45 years from now, she is the founder of this great organization. My colleague and I were so passionate about what we were learning for the first time, my own history, my culture, the music that I used to remember hearing my mom in the radio in the background. I remember that polka. I remember that. I didn't realize that was part of my culture. We were so passionate, we went back. We took those classes and we taught our little second and third graders folklorico classes. We became the first elementary school, the Wilson Elementary Ballet Folklorico. I can tell you firsthand what I saw and the changes of my English learners, because at that time they were identified as English learners. The growth, the poise and self-confidence after learning these dances to get on that stage and perform in front of their peers, in front of the whole student body, in front of their families and their parents. I was so proud of those children. But most of all, they were so proud of themselves for making this accomplishment, their achievement, their little practices, and they tried so hard and they achieved their goal to perform. They were totally different students. Today, there is still a need for the performing arts to reach our students, particular school-aged children, and particular students from those low to moderate income families, just like my little children I had at Wilson Elementary School. Our project, our program will address the following. These are our objectives: to develop that self-confidence, the understanding and appreciation of that valuable cultural heritage, their academic achievement and personal growth. Currently, Relámpago right now serves we have 12 different classes. We start from little tiny tots. We're talking 3 to 4 years old, all the way to young adults. Many of these students who are now the young adults and taking our classes develop leadership skills. They are now many of our instructors who are now teaching the classes that they started when they were 5 and 6 years old. Many of these instructors now continue with the organization. They have jobs, they're going to college, they're graduating, but they're still part of that family and that bond that we make, that bond that we have established with them. They're so actively involved. I'm just trying to think, where would those children have been, those young adults, if it hadn't been for programs like Relámpago? Who knows? We were a blessing, and we are so thankful that this program continues. I just want to show you before we end what one of our goals here is. With your funding efforts, we will expand our programs to offer more opportunities to reach more children and to offer this program year-round. It doesn't just stop when school stops, it's continual. And it keeps growing, and we need more space, and we need more children. And now we have parents that are also learning these skills. They have their own leadership team. So at this point, I'm going to show you, before we conclude, a few slides. Wanted to let you know that part of that last slide was one of our performing dancers. We do partnership with the Orange County School of the Arts, Disneyland, Resort, where our performing company has been performing for the last 7 years, sharing our culture to the guests and to the people from the different parts of the world that come to visit Disneyland. And one of the first things that one of the a child was watching the company perform in Viva Navidad, and the little girl turned around and told the dancer, "You are my favorite Disney princess." The impact that we make on our children, they relate to our... At this point, I just want to...
It's okay.
It's
If
okay.
you like, have the girls come forward and have
and
some
I would like
words.
maybe if Marlene would like to answer any of the questions.
Great.
And here
I'd like to introduce two of our young dancers. This is Calliope and Tatiana, who take classes. They have both been with us. I know Tatiana's been with us since you were 4, 5? When did you start dancing? How old were you? 4 years old. And Calliope, when did you start dancing?
I think like 7 or 8.
You were 7? Awesome. We thought it would be nice to bring just a couple of our young ladies so that you could take a look at them and in costume, and they learn part of their history of their dance in their classes, along with choreography and discipline, things that go along with that. And just if you had any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Sure, we would like to take a picture. If any commissioners would want to say anything, we'd probably limit it down to 1 minute. Any questions? Mind if I just raise your hand?
I really, girls, if you want to just go to the mic real quick, what do you love about this program?
No pressure.
What do you like to do? What do you like to dance? Why do you like to dance? What did you learn?
Tatiana, what do you like about your dancing?
It's okay, honey.
She loves to dance.
I love to dance.
Yeah.
Why did you like to dance?
Because we have a lot of friends and we make
Louder.
new friends. Because we have a lot of friends and we make new friends.
That's awesome. Why don't you guys come forward? We'll take a quick picture with the group. Commissioners, can you guys meet us down on the floor?
I don't know if you have any questions regarding our expansion, our programming, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Ms. Commissioner Frazier, please.
Yes, we do.
2 minutes. Full 2 minutes.
1 minute. Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. Actually, I'm curious, you mentioned meeting with different dance groups from around the world. What other cultures do you incorporate into your curriculum?
Well, when we talk about that, we are strictly Mexican folk dance, but within that we do a lot of technique. So when you think about ballet dancers, they have this, there's a specific technique to ballet. A lot of people don't realize that Mexican folk dance has the same thing. So from the time we start them at 3 years old, we really work a lot on that skill set. And we talk about exposure to other groups. We encourage our students to go to other workshops, conferences that are specific to folk dance, where they get to interact with students their age across the United States that share the same passion for Mexican folk dance. And it's actually almost life-changing what we see when they come back. The parents come back. The kids realize there's other kids in California or Arizona or Texas or Nevada that do the same thing that we do, and they all love it. So that is another inspiration. So that's what we meant in regards of meeting with other groups. It was really exposing them to other dancers within their age and their ability that share the same passion.
Thank you. And through that, through them being able to go to these different groups and experience these different groups, is that something that they have access to through your program?
Yes, yes. Actually, we just received a grant from the Disney Community Arts Foundation to send our students this summer to a workshop that's going to be held in Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, fantastic.
So, and it's a nationwide Mexican folk dance workshop, and it will be able to send about 20 of our students.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Perez?
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Garcia?
Thank you for your presentation. I appreciate your passion for your program and the lively presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tardif?
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Calantoro?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
So how many students are enrolled currently in the It's divided by grade, correct?
Well, we do it by level, but it really does kind of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 12 levels. When we first started the program in mid-70s, we had maybe about 9 to 10 students. We are now we range anywhere from 300 to 350 students. But what's happening is we're seeing an influx weekly of new students that want to come. And we're also looking through this funding to offer scholarship support so that we can reach more of the youth in our community, specifically here through the school districts and different partnerships that we have.
Okay, and then second question that I have is it free for the students, or do they have to pay like?
It is a tuition based, and in dance we're $45 a month, which people that take their children to ballet classes tell me, is that all? Because our goal was always to keep it as reasonable as we could and make it as economically accessible. But even with that, we have families that struggle. So we do offer scholarships on a sliding scale basis, and we're looking to expand that.
Got it. Cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Aguinaga?
It just brought me back memories when I used to go to the studio. Long
Yes,
time ago.
I remember.
So believe it or not, she was teaching. I want to see and support your work. Thank you for naming me.
You're welcome, Cecilia. You're welcome.
Good job.
Thank you.
And in closing, I'd just like to say, I'm very happy to see your diverse board of directors. Every one of them bring in beautiful talent to these young students. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Next in line, can you please have Sand Extreme? Oh, and we do offer validation. Si ocupa en validación.
Hello. My name is Makivi Dolorosa. I'm the president of San Extreme. That's a softball organization. We primarily cater to female youths in the age range from 9 to 19. In addition, we will work with young girls as young as 5 years old, kind of in a skills development type of capacity. My primary focus is really the development of girls softball in preparation for collegiate play. Our main goal, our main focus is to get these girls to college on a softball scholarship. That's our number one priority. With that, there's a lot of different skills and areas that we help to work to development, so that way when they go off to college, they're successful. With the competitive nature of softball, we definitely make sure that their softball skills is up to par to compete in a highly competitive collegiate atmosphere. The softball sport itself has grown tremendously. It's the only female sport that's a revenue-generating program in softball, which has led to a lot more scholarships to programs to offer money to girls. So that's become more competitive, as everybody knows. That's one way to get into a college that they want to. In addition, it helps them when they get into college, because one of the biggest issues right now is just graduating in a 4-year or 5-year time frame, depending on your major. Not everybody is allowed to do that. With athletes being able to have access to the grades, their classes first, that is one thing that we try to make sure we emphasize to the girls. That way they have the time management skills, understand what they're going to be doing at the campus when they get there. In addition to that, that's like our ultimate goal. Along the way, we really work to build a lot of the girls' self-confidence and just self-discipline. For me, as a male, I was always surprised when I first started coaching the lack of, self-confidence that teenage girls have, especially in the primary years that we usually get them, which is in 11 to 16 range. There's just a lot going on with the girls, and they seem to have, they really lack the self-confidence. That's one thing I've always been proud of with our program. We see the self-confidence be built, one, just through their accomplishments out there on the field, because when the girls start, they don't necessarily might have all the skill sets to be one of the top players out there, but through our program, we help give them the tools that they need, and by them going out there in a team and in an individual capacity, they're able to see how they accomplish so much to play at that level, right, which is the highest level. So that's another thing that we really strive to really build into the girls. In addition to that, one thing we're requesting for this funding is to help strengthen the program itself, being able to help pay for staffing, primarily coaches, As I said, the softball community is very competitive. You have large organizations that when you have a good, strong coach or a young, good core group of girls, they come in and try to pull those girls to go to their program to help build their profile. So with this funding, that will help do that, help us expand our program, primarily in the area of college recruitment, to have a staff to help the girls with SAT, ACT, college preparation exams, help them network with the college coaches. There's just a lot of areas that goes into, as recruiting is not an exact science. The more tools that we can throw at that, the easier it is for these girls to try to obtain some of these scholarships. I'm almost out of my time, so I want to make sure I touch on, although this might seem like this is just like a sport, we don't look at it this way. For me especially, that was the thing that really I fought for. I've always felt, female athletes are largely underserved tremendously. I mean, you look at everything that's been developed in the city, there hasn't been anything that's been dedicated to softball fields, anything in that capacity. Everything is just an offshoot of what the boys have. And this is why I felt so strong to stay and actually, basically a proponent to do this, because I feel the girls need this to help them in their future career. Definitely, and that's why we strive for the college. As they go off to college, so many of our girls that have gone off now have came back with, with the degree and an avenue for their future career, which one they previously didn't have before they started softball. So although it is a sport, there's so much within this that we do for the girls itself, both individually and together collectively, as usually a lot of those girls become really close and become like sisters, and they have a network to always fall back in to help support them. I think I'm almost out of time. The main thing is really for the funding is just that we're just trying to build the infrastructure. We're trying to make sure that we can provide everything that's needed to all the girls within the program, be able to reach out more to more girls throughout the city, as we're kind of located around Thornton. We would like to expand throughout the city as a whole.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to start to my left with Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for your presentation. I commend your efforts to get women and girls to college through softball and the intangibles that it teaches as well. I don't have your proposal in front of me, but I wanted to know, what is the criteria for getting into your program? What do the women that apply have to do? Try out, beyond trying out?
For us, I mean, that's always been our mission statement. So any of the girls, especially any of the girls from Santa Ana, they come and we take them. It kind of hurts our program's esteem sometimes, because we take girls that need a lot of development. But we have we feel strongly with our training program. If they want to play, we make sure we find a way to get it done through the development. A lot of times, if there's a financial hardship, so we have financial support for them to play at a highly nationally competitive program, which a lot of times definitely would be out of the reach to a lot of the girls in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tardif.
Thank you for your presentation. Would this be considered like a club program?
Yes, this is a club program.
Okay, so you're competing against other cities that may be more financially able to...
Absolutely. All the surrounding cities around us have at least a dozen fields dedicated just to girls softball. We have 2 that are really outdated. Yes, they're definitely more well-funded. They have more supporting cast. One with the coaches that they started in the recreational league. They just have a much better support system than us. Absolutely. So our development is for them to be able to compete at a national level against anybody. We play against a lot of top teams outside of the state, and we do really well.
Very good. Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation. Honestly, I just appreciate the fact that you're reaching out to young ladies to pursue, sports. One of the things I wanted to ask is, where exactly are you guys located?
We're primarily located at Thornton Park. We practice at a Thornton Park. We're centrally located there, but we also do practice at Santiago Park.
Cool. All right.
But we cater to the city, but unfortunately, a lot of people in the city on the opposite side don't really realize there's a softball program there. It's just that was always amazing to me. They didn't know that there was a softball program
Yeah,
here.
I mean that's what I'm asking. So like, how do you guys then do the advertisement to recruit more young ladies to join the team?
What we've tried to do in the past, and it always varies because we have to work in conjunction with the local recreational league. Sometimes they're willing to, and sometimes they're not. We always try to advertise through the elementary schools to get them into the recreational league. Through the recreational league, we have a high presence and profile there, so they know, most of the people that play there know that if they wanted to play at a more highly competitive level, they have our organization to go to and fall back on as part of a network right there. It's kind of built in with the local recreational league. Outside of that, we just do local advertisement through, there's a couple sites that are geared specifically to softball, and word of mouth recommendation through the current players that we have is usually the biggest recruitment tool that we have.
Yeah, I was just looking at your Facebook page. That's why. So I appreciate it. Just thank you for your presentation. No questions. Thanks.
Thank you,
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm curious, you said that one of your goals is to help the girls be able to get scholarships into college for sports or for softball. Have you seen many of those scholarships come to fruition? What's a rough percentage of the amount?
All our girls that have graduated, we've gotten them some type of scholarship.
In softball?
In softball. There's certain college coaches that we have connections with throughout the nation. So we're not located just here to California or the Southwest area. We've sent girls out to Maryland. We sent girls out to Hawaii, Colorado, New Mexico. Some of the girls have, through their school, and they just decided to stay there because the career opportunities are so much greater there. Something that some of the girls, like I think one of my best stories is there was a girl that didn't, I saw her grades there, weren't good. She didn't think she had the mental capability to go to college. She thought that was just for smart people. I just told her it's just you got to work harder. She had to end up redshirting at a local JC because she didn't have the grades. She had offers athletically, but academically it was preventing her from going. She went to a local school, so now she's part of the graduate program and full scholarship up in Oregon. And for me, that's like a big talent thing because a lot of the girls that we deal with are in that type of situation where they don't think, that's for other people and their families. They don't have college family members with college degree, and that's one thing that we definitely try to expose them to. They know when they're in our program that that's our goal and that's what we're pushing them towards, so it's not like it's an option. Everybody in there, we want them to feel that the responsibility is to get you to college, not just for the athletic part of it, but for what it's going to do for them as a person after they graduate with that degree, and that's something we definitely try to drive home.
Fantastic, thank you.
Commissioner Aguinaga.
Thank you for your presentation. I just had curiosity. Why did you choose Santa Extreme for the team?
I didn't start the organization itself. It was just from a group of girls that were in that were playing together in the local rec league, and they took on that name. We had, at that time when I got involved, there was a strong working relationship with the city, and for me, I just felt there was a need here. I had opportunities to go to different organizations outside of this area, which everybody said I should, but I just saw the girls here. They were definitely underserved, and there was definitely a need here. There was just a big gaping gap, and there's so many talented players here, but nobody was willing to work with them because a lot of times it's their ability to travel and their financial situation.
That was a girl, if I remember, that was a girl who started the whole thing. Am I right?
No, the person that, there might have been somebody working with them, but his name was Frank Parga. He was the initial founder of Santa Ana Extreme back in, I think, 2000. And so we've been around for quite a bit. We're working to try to make it work here.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
No further comments, but I echo everything that our fellow commissioners said. Thank you for your hard work, sir.
All right, thank you.
We also have validation if you need validation. Second chance, Orange County. Sure. Let's move up to Wise Place.
Well, they're way ahead, right?
We're way ahead.
Next time we're going to
Give you a longer lunch.
Can we text the others?
Is it okay to start? Oh, sorry. Good evening. Thank you so much for your hopefully continued partnership, and truly because of the dedication and the partnership with the City of Santa Ana, we have alleviated and ended homelessness at Wise Place. We've been in your community since the 1920s. We started off as the Y, and then in 1987 we built our 19-room transitional shelter and our Steps to Independence program, which is what we're requesting partnership and funding for. We are a community of housing and hope, and we've served over 7,800 women since our inception. One in every four individuals that is experiencing homelessness is an unaccompanied woman. And unaccompanied women are unfortunately one of the fastest growing populations of people to experience homelessness. And additionally to that, unaccompanied women over the age of 60 is the fastest growing population of people to experience homelessness. 51% of the women that we serve are survivors of domestic violence. Excuse me. And because they've experienced domestic violence and were fleeing from that domestic abuse and coming to Wise Place, that is the reason why 51% of the women that we serve in our transitional program are experiencing homelessness. Our program works because we focus on a woman, one-to-one, one woman at a time. We serve about 300 women annually, and we're a holistic, person-centered, trauma-informed wraparound service. And so on the PowerPoint, those are some bullet points of what we refer to as wraparound services at Wise Place. We have case management. We have kind of a 10-to-1 case management ratio, which is why we're very effective. We have financial empowerment case managers. I started about 13 months ago to lead the organization, and I revamped our whole support structure, and we find that to be effective. So what that means for us, what's new for us, is that we have psychological and clinical counseling for each woman at no fee. And so we have a dedicated clinical team now that comes into Wise Place weekly. We also, obviously a core focus for us is self-sufficiency as a woman rebuilds her life at Wise Place. And so through the financial empowerment case managers, we help a woman find, get and keep a job. We have savings plans. Every Wednesday we have corporate and community house speakers. And so we would invite you to come to Wise Place and share your journey as well. But HR managers, marketing managers, anybody who's in a position to hire somebody on at various communities. A lot of our employers are right here in Santa Ana as well. And so they will come, we will do mock interviews, of course we will review resumes, so anything to find and keep a job. We have strategic partnerships around healthcare, vision mobile units, dental, but it isn't solely about financial empowerment. We try to build a robust, holistic program. That's something that's new to Wise Place as well. So we now have weekly yoga, weekly art therapy, everything that helps a woman build confidence and rebuild her life. And so we're truly more than just a roof and a shelter over somebody's head. Through our wraparound services, 75% of the women at Wise Place transition to stable housing, 81% obtain employment, and 77% have a direct increase in savings and income. So just really quickly, I want to share with you about Kristen, and I hope that you all can see her photo. This is a family that was broken. Kristen, I just saw her yesterday, and she leads our first ever recovery program. So rather than refer out, now we have our own substance use alcohol recovery groups. It's a nationally accredited program that we now use. And Krista is my alumnus who leads that group every Tuesday night for us. Kristen grew up in a family where her mom and grandma shared drugs with Kristen when she was 12 years old. So Kristen unfortunately repeated that cycle with her children as well. In her 40s, Kristen was referred to Wise Place, and the day she came to Wise Place is her sobriety date. And 8 years later, she is sober. She's a director of a clinical helping other women rebuild their lives. And she's one of my 18 bosses, so she's on our board of directors as well as Wise Place. She lost custody of her children. She regained custody of her children after going through the Wise Place program. So she is just one of the almost 8,000 women who have found safety, shelter, wraparound services, and rebuilt their life. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your presentation. I'm going to start with my left with Commissioner Garcia.
Oh. I do not have any questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Thank you
Cardiff.
for your presentation. I've had the opportunity to tour your facility there and see some of the work that's done there, and you do a great job.
Thank you for your support.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes, just one moment, please. So I know last year you came before us. You were newly to the organization. 13 months, so congratulations. It's moving forward. And I know a couple years back there was some struggle meeting numbers.
Yep.
I know you guys met your numbers last year.
We did.
And you actually went a little bit above. You're proposing 80. It looks like there's a small adjustment that we just got. Total number of unduplicated to be served for 2021 is 120, and then 21-22 is 80, which is about 200.
Yes.
Explain to me your capacity now of why you think, or what have you put together to be able to meet those type of numbers?
Mm-hmm. So 120 is kind of what we did last year, or when I came in, unfortunately, we were about 6 months behind. In less than 90 days, we caught up. I understand, we went through an audit, we successfully passed that audit, and we caught up our numbers, and as you said, last year, we exceeded them. We're on track this year as well. So the first year is 120, because that is our capacity. The reason why I downscaled the second year is because I anticipate to remodel the building. The building was built in the 1920s. It needs a lot of love. I really want to push the organization forward to still be committed to shelter, but to really build permanent solutions to homelessness. And so in our building, we are going to build, just revamp the whole building. We don't have an operating kitchen right now, and that's really tricky. So there's needs that we have that we can't yet meet. And so that's why I'm downscaling, because I think that last quarter, so October, November, December, I will technically be under construction.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. No questions at the time.
Okay.
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you for your presentation. So we've had a number of entities come before us that focus on women and single mothers as the population for homeless. And by your statistics, 1 in 4 individuals who are homeless are women or single women. So that leaves 75% of the population unaddressed. What I'm curious about is what sets your organization, what is the one thing that sets your organization apart from those other entities that also focus on women and single mothers as the homeless population?
Well, our organization specializes in unaccompanied women. And it is, unaccompanied women are overlooked and under-resourced because they don't have children. So like with Kristen, and about 30% of the women we serve, they're separated for various reasons from their children. So when a woman is at Wise Place, she doesn't have a partner or children with her. And also, women that are 55 to 80, are very, very vulnerable without an organization like Wise Place, because senior women, they're still working because of housing needs and their financial needs, but there aren't organizations that are going to help them outside of Wise Place because they don't have children, right? So that's definitely what sets our organization apart. And thank goodness that there are many, many nonprofits who specialize on families, but we specialize in single women.
Thank you.
So we are not a co-ed shelter.
Commissioner Aguinaga?
Thank you for your presentation. I have no further questions.
Great presentation. Just a quick question. Have you guys been able to remodelize the gym?
That is part of the big rebuild. So we anticipate to break ground late 2021 and be under construction for about 14 to 16 months. We did, very exciting for us, Wise Place has tried to pull off a development partnership for about 10 years. We signed an MOU with Jamboree Housing, so they are a development partner, and so we are going it together.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
We have a validation we need to be validated. Okay, is second chance here? Okay, second chance. We're giving you a second chance.
No, you're not.
I bet you wish I was the last person, huh?
Oh, you're not.
Oh, yeah. Well, God bless you all for sitting here from 3 o'clock 2 days in a row. I can understand you're getting tired of all this, but it's worth it in the end. So thank you for your ability and your willingness to do this. My name is Gail, and I work for Second Chance Orange County. I was here with you last year. I don't know if you remember, but we've spent the last couple of years in Santa Ana, and I'd like to just give you a little brief history of what we've done here. Okay. Is there a secret? Is there something else I'm supposed to be using? Oh, the right button. Okay, thank you. If you're not familiar with us, we are a nonprofit organization. We've been around 4 years. We help low-income, poverty level pretty much exclusively, people who are alcoholics or addicts, drug addicts, and who are experiencing homelessness to get themselves back on their feet, to try and find the avenues into their souls that help them stand straight up again and get in the workforce. We are employment oriented, but we take all comers with the understanding that there's hope in every person. While we're at shelters in Santa Ana, we provide, I guess you'd call them various skills training that people experiencing homelessness might need, ranging from how to manage change and how to handle difficult decisions, make better choices perhaps. We do resumes when we find people who have a glimmer, and we hone in on them, and we get our arms around them, and we say, "Come, how long have you been sober?" "Oh, 30 days. We love you. Come on, let's do a resume. Let's find a job for you. What are you good at? What do you want to do? What are your interests?" And for a percentage of those, we can actually get them housing. We have probably served, at this point in time, more than 50 people we've taken out of shelters and put into employment. Of that group, at least 20 are housed today, who would not be housed had we not had our arms around them. Just in Santa Ana, I don't know if you can read this, 41 people were helped in 2018-19. The goal in our paperwork was 11. Our goal in the current period, 2019-20, which we're in presently, we will exceed that. We already have exceeded what we said we would do. We have 18 individuals with jobs. 77 people have gone through the classes that we provide at the shelters. We have 10 people from Santa Ana who are no longer homeless. Now, if you put a price tag on that, I know you can do the math. 10 times at least 50,000. 28 individuals have received new resumes just in the last 17 months. Believe it or not, people with no job history have a hard time with resumes, so we make sure we get them. It's also interesting to notice that securing wages is what the homeless tell people that they need. if you don't have a job, you can't pay the rent. And as you might be reading in the LA Times lately, the problem is really significant. Steve Woke has that great article this morning on how the average man is getting harder and harder to pay the rent. We figure we saved the city of Santa Ana more than $500,000 with getting people out of shelters and into housing of some sort or another. We collaborate, not exclusively, but mainly with Mercy House and Wise Place, and we love both of those operators and think they do a great job. There's a couple of pictures there of us in the training centers. Here's a picture of a fellow who had been chronically homeless, went through 2 of our classes, stayed sober for 60 days, went to see Deb Johnson, who is the CEO. We signed him a mentor, that's his mentor on the left, and I won't read that to you, but that's a thank you letter from him. We teach customer service, conflict management, resolution, both in and out of the workplace, how to interview. People who've been chronically homeless have no idea what to do when they walk into a 3-person panel, want to give them a job. How to manage change effectively, and many of these people haven't had money for so long they wouldn't know what to do with it if they didn't get a little bit of help talking about how do you open a bank account. We have lots of success stories. That lady on the right is a mother with 2 children from Santa Ana working at the North Restaurant who told us that she's the best employee they ever had. The man on the left is taking CPR training because his job that he's got requires it. So what makes us different? Our support is individualized. We are focused on sobriety. We also deal with double diagnosis people. Those are hard ones to place.
If you can just wrap up your presentation, we have your PowerPoint that we can look through.
Okay. Well, thank you for your support for the last 2 years. It's been great.
Awesome. I'm going to start to my left.
Thank you also, they're not here, but the employers in Santa Ana who give these people jobs. Couldn't do it without them.
Great. I'm going to start with the Commissioner, Commissioner Perez.
Pardon me?
I'm starting with Commissioner Perez for questions.
Hello.
Hi.
Your name again?
My name is Gail Wayne.
Gail, perfect. So Gail, you're the development director, correct?
Yes.
So Gail, I'm also reading the ESG grants, and I know you've also applied for ESG funding for us as well.
Yes.
So my question, quite a few questions actually I'm going to have because I'm almost kind of looking at 2 grants simultaneously. First question really has to do with capacity. So I'm taking a look at your organization. You're the development director, you have the executive director, Deb, and then you have 1 program manager at this time.
Right.
And I did see that you did reach some numbers, but you're looking to reach some additional numbers, a higher amount.
We have job openings right now.
So tell me about building capacity, and why you think you guys have what it takes for these additional funds.
Well, I think we have a strategically effective model in how we operate. And as long as we can get a college graduate that we can afford to pay and make sure they understand what we're doing, we have office space available to us. We rent space from the Costa Mesa Sanitation District. We rent 2 offices now. There are other offices available. So we do have office space capacity building there. We believe that the mission is quite doable for someone who has a basic respect for the human population.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we look for. And I think there are a lot of people out there that would be thrilled to work for us. I know of 2 right now who are waiting for us to see what happens.
So you talked a little bit about working with dual diagnostic individuals.
Yes.
But as I look at the staffing, there's nobody on your staffing that has a credential or license for family marriage therapy, licensed clinical social worker, or psychologist.
Well, that's on our job descriptions presently.
Okay, so you don't currently have somebody, but you're currently looking.
You have me, and I have quite an interesting background. I won't go into it in detail, but I left my last job as assistant superintendent of schools in Orange Unified, and I took care of special ed students and had all the required paperwork and credentialing that required. So I have some background in that area myself. I don't intend to serve that population, but I can identify and train others.
How long were you at Orange Unified?
3.5 years.
Excellent.
I was in Ocean View for 22. Huntington
Okay.
Beach Union High School District, and I've taught it at Cal State Long Beach and University of Southern California.
Excellent. I'm a byproduct of Orange Unified School District.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Case 3 years, triple. Yep, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner Perez. Commissioner Aguinaga.
I have no further questions. Good job. I'm sorry, I'm so.
Oh.
Commissioner Tardif. Commissioner Tardif.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you for your presentation. I was curious, you work through, you're affiliated with Wise Place and Mercy House. How else would people be referred to your service if they weren't affiliated with those two?
Well, I mentioned Wise Place and Mercy House because we do a great deal of work in Santa Ana there, but we are very connected to the faith community, and most of the churches that work in the county have been through training with us. We do not work exclusively with Mercy House and Wise Place, Lighthouse, and Deb sits on a couple of different homeless coalitions and is pretty active in generally speaking in the homeless support service system in this county. So there's no problem expanding.
But could somebody walk into your doors, say, just off the street and be able to affiliate with you?
If someone walked in off the street after we picked ourselves up off the ground, we would be thrilled to be, that would tell us that somebody probably with an addiction problem. When Second Chance first formed, it was really very focused on addiction and the fact that once you're out of a jail or hospital or wherever you came out of, if you have no resources, you have really a very thin lifeline.
Right.
And it was a need that we saw. What the other thing that we saw is that when you go to homeless shelters to provide services to that population, there's very little else there for them. Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous do not hang out in those places, and they should. Because from our experience, so this is not statistically valid, as many as 66, 2/3 to 3/4 of the people in shelters today in Orange County have had, are presently having, or are at risk of serious addiction. And they are using in the shelters, unfortunately. So we can't help someone in that mode. If they are in that situation, they are not someone that we are going to put with our treasured employers.
Okay. And my other question was, what model of addiction do you follow?
All of them.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Garcia.
Rational Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous. There are several out there, including drug-supported sobriety. All of those are, one of the things that makes us different is that every client is unique. Some of them are going to be responsive to an AA or an NA program. Others are not. So there's more than one way to skin the cat. We do not offer full-on group sessions. If we had the staffing and the resources, I think that's something that we would be very interested in doing. It's a growth mode. That's a strategic plan.
I appreciate the clarity on your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for your presentation and the work that you're doing. I do not have any questions.
Thank you. This didn't make a slide, but I'm going to leave it with you because it's kind of when someone asks us how we do what we do, this is a graphic that explains when they come in, here they are, why they fall off, those that are helped, what they get, and these are the outcomes that we hope to see.
Thank you. City staff will be making copies and presenting it to us. Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation. I have no questions.
Thank you for your presentation. No further questions on my
One
end.
last thing before I leave, I want to thank the staff for the
Thank
city,
you.
because the staff in the city, and we work in more than one city, they're exceptional people and they're doing a great job.
Thank you for your
We're
comments.
lucky to have them.
City staff, members of the public will now be breaking for recess. We'll be returning at 6:15. Thank you.
Man, he really smashes that hammer.
I was in the middle of a meeting, can't remember what he brings.
reconvene our meeting. We just want to make a quick announcement to all the speakers who are before us today. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to present their proposal. The Commission has up to 2 minutes for questions after your presentation. Can you please have Taller San Jose please approach?
Good evening, everyone. Hello, I am Miguel Canto, Outreach with Hope Builders, and I begin now, right? Yeah, so as an outreach representative for the organization, I speak about the organization on a daily basis here. So Hope Builders, as a nonprofit organization, what we connect young adults between the ages of 18 to 28 to career opportunities. Young adults that, 18 to 28 years old being youth, right? And those that are looking for opportunities to get out of being underpaid, undereducated, underemployed, looking for self-sustainability, looking for a career path where they can provide not only for themselves, but for their futures, their families. And with the time working with the organization, seeing stories such as Kevin, who was working at a fast food restaurant for several years and saw that as his end path, not necessarily sure what options he can take to continue moving forward. Being connected to the organization and from there opening up a pathway to earn more than minimum wage and place himself in a position where more opportunities can be available to him through different partnerships that we also have here in the city of Santa Ana. As an organization, Hope Builders aligns itself with Santa Ana College for 2 of our programs. We offer 4 different programs: construction, information technology, business applications, clinical medical assisting. And I'm sorry, not 2 of our programs, 3 of our programs are aligned with Santa Ana College. And this is a partnership that we've established in the community to open up more pathways for our young adults. With these opportunities that we open up to our young adults, we're also working towards the transformation of the impact that they can bring back to their families, most importantly to their communities, and contributing finally to the development here in the city of Santa Ana. In the time that we've been established, we've also identified that employers play a valuable role in this transformation process, and employers are also looking for skilled trades workers. So in that time frame, as we're working towards prepping these young adults with the skills that they need to succeed in a career, we're also working with the employer to provide them with a quality employee that will show up on time, dedicated to their job, and continue with hunger and growth within the industry. This is something that Hope Builders strives to provide as a contributing member to the plan that the city of Santa Ana has in store for everyone here in the community. With the funding, with CDBG grant, CDBG funding, we would hope to serve 50 trainees, 50 students, 50 people here from Santa Ana, 25 each year, adding to the numbers that we consistently serve on an annual basis. We're asking $3,000 per trainee. What this includes: support for the trainee as they train along within the training program, because we acknowledge that hard skills training, life still exists. And in that time frame, we provide financial support, assistance with transportation, assistance with childcare, as well as providing coverage for books, materials, supplies. Uniforms are also included in that. Everything so that once the trainee steps into our doors, they're better focused on what they can achieve in their future, going from poverty to prosperity. And that is an aim that we want to provide for each individual that steps through our doors, and overall contribute to the impact that we can here in the city of Santa Ana. Again, I am Miguel Canto with Hope Builders. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Miguel. I'm going to start to my left with Commissioner Garcia.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't have your proposal in front of me. Can you explain what exactly, how long have you been helping these youth with this particular program that you're applying for?
The CDBG?
Because I know there's different programs within the organization.
Correct.
For this particular program for youth, how long has it been in place?
Well, Hope Builders has been around since 1995. We were established by the Sisters of St. Joseph here in the city of Santa Ana. Yeah, we're located off of Civic Center on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And with the grant itself, I could follow up with you on the proposal when it was started.
That's okay, I'm going to get it from
yeah.
that. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Commissioner Tardif.
Thank you for your presentation, Miguel. I'm aware of your organization. You guys do fantastic work. I've toured your facility. It's really amazing, all the people you serve and the work you do. What is your background, particularly, and were you in the trades?
So actually, I graduated from University of Laverne in 2015 with my master's in leadership and management, concentrating in nonprofit organizations. And my undergrad was at Cal Poly Pomona. But as a high school student, I was not necessarily sure what I wanted to do. However, my parents told me I needed to go to college. And I saw that as the only option because in their eyes, that was the only successful route that they saw. So from there, I struggled my first couple of years during my undergrad, eventually picking it back up and pushing through to receive my master's. But I ran into a lot of issues when it came to seeking employment. And in that time, I started to think to myself, well, maybe there's another way to connect young adults to these opportunities where they're not spending so much money, so much time, and can get better focused on what goals they're trying to achieve. And that's where I was connected to Hope Builders to see if I can open up that pathway for others with the awareness of what's offered out in the community.
That's great. I know Cal Poly Pomona has a good, great engineering school there.
Yes.
Were you exposed to any of that?
So actually, I went in undeclared because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my major, what career course I wanted to go down, and I declared communication and emphasis in public relations.
Okay, great. Thank you for your presentation again, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation. I have no questions.
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you for your presentation. I have no questions.
Commissioner Aguinaga.
Thank you. I'm very acquainted with your program, and I know people, in fact, that were AGA members or they were in the wrong direction, and they are very successful citizens. You guys doing a great job. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, Miguel.
Yeah.
Do you own your building on Civic Center Broadway?
801 Broadway, North
Yeah.
Broadway? I believe we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah, I believe we do. Yeah.
Are you looking for space, sir?
Yeah.
Well, it falls in the enterprise zone. It's probably one of the most expensive land in Santa Ana, but that's not important.
Okay.
But,
Well,
thank you for your hard work. I actually had a couple friends who have gone through the program and have actually have full-time job and have great products of what you've been able to empower our youth. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you for the time. Thank you all. Good evening.
Next, you please have the Cambodian family. And just a reminder for everyone who's here, we are validating. If you have parking, if you park in the structure, please get a validation. Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Slipping.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Sophia Chung, and I'm program director for Plan Ahead Youth Program at the Cambodian Family, and this is my colleague.
Sophia Sobron, program coordinator of the Plan Ahead Youth Program at the Cambodian Family.
So just a quick introduction about our organization. So the Cambodian Family is a grassroots community-based organization here in Santa Ana. We're founded in 1980 with the first wave of Cambodian refugees came to this country. When the Khmer Rouge happened, a lot of Cambodians were displaced from their homes and they needed a place to settle. So the Mini Street neighborhood in Santa Ana, where there are a lot of apartment complexes, was a perfect place for that. So over the years, we have served not only the Cambodian population, but also several immigrants and refugees from all throughout the world, such as like Somalia, Mexico, Vietnam, Russia as well. Currently, we have 4 main programs, one being community health and a mental health program, and our after-school Plan Ahead youth program. our civic engagement program. We also offer immigration relief services as well. So just a brief history of the Plan Ahead Youth program. So along with the families that were displaced, we saw a great need for navigating the school system in America. It's very different from Cambodia. So a lot of Cambodian youth needed guidance. So that was probably the reason why our Plan Ahead Youth program was so innovative at the time, because it was just a new set of refugees and we saw this gap. So we kind of served as like a cultural broker between the parents and the students. So our program actually played a tremendous success in graduation rates in Cambodians in Santa Ana, as you can see in this picture here. We had a percentage of only about, I think, 50% of Cambodians actually graduating high school, and that percentage went up with our Plan Ahead Youth program. And then one of the basic things that our program is centered around is our institutes, and our parents play a strong role in this. So we have a strong parent component. You see here pictured, our parents come to our meetings. They have their own kind of like cultural night. So right here is a picture of them with their little salsa cook-off. They're involved in our students' activities. They participate in our life skills, and then they're also really great volunteers as well. So our 4 main institutes are very centered around life skills, and not just academic development, but also like personal growth as well. So I'm gonna let Sophia go over those 4 institutes with you.
All right, so for our Academic Institute, we provide after-school tutoring and academic assistance to students from 1st grade all the way to 12th. As Sophia mentioned, we do work with a variety of different refugee and immigrant communities. Within the Academic Institute, basically how we formulate the tutoring program is basically we sit with the parent to see what students have a need for academically, where they need more practice, and we make sure that through their tutoring sessions, that's what they're getting practice on. Say if it's math, reading, comprehension, what have you. We run our tutoring program Tuesday through Friday 3 times a week. Each session is about 2 hours long. And in our Career Institute, we basically focus on career readiness activities and workshops. So that might mean a career guest speaker may come, and we do try to reach out through our previous network of people who have graduated and who now have jobs. And we also provide workshops that focus on career readiness skills, workplace skills, professional skills. We recently had a workshop where we focused on how to go about doing a job search and how social media can be a beneficial impact for that. And then we also, in Leadership Institute, we have more workshops where we focus on things that impact students within the school, whether that means cyberbullying. So we do focus a large part of that on violence prevention. We also do leadership development in terms of how students can be feeling more active within the community, how they can exercise that voice. Within our Health Institute, we focus on physical health, nutritional health, as well as mental health awareness. So as you can see through many of the pictures that we just recently showed, throughout the year we're doing these things, but in the summer we really get to develop them because, of course, you know, this is where we get to do activities, field trips, camping trips. The students really get to get engaged beyond classroom level experiences in doing all the different things like STEM related activities and what have you. This is one of our students that I just want to briefly touch on. His name is Steven. He was referred to us by Century High School, and turns out that he actually needed some mediation work done for conflict resolution skills. And it turned into just a one-time thing that he enjoyed so much. He decided to continue coming because he felt like this place, our program, provided him a trusted support system. And now he's coming back as one of our regular student volunteers, in fact, taking on more of a leadership role within the youth program.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with my left with Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you for your presentation. I do not have any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Tardif.
Thank you. No questions.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very familiar with your organization. I think you guys do an outstanding job. You're a pillar in our community, reaching a population that's been underserved and just done an excellent job. You've received our funds for many, many years. And I guess I'm just going to be a little bit honest. I kind of see the same thing. And I get to this point where, I have $2 million that I need to reduce from all these funders. And your organization is innovative, and I'm not seeing that in this contract. I'm not seeing that in this scope. It's kind of the similar stuff, the violence prevention, the bullying. And as I look at your organization and just being creative and innovative and doing new things, you have a track record. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, it would be very difficult for me to vote against your proposal if it was fresh, if it was new, but you're coming back asking for the same amount of money, same amount you did last year, and it's the same services. And I'm not understanding that, because I know a lot of people within your organization, and I can have the utmost respect for the work that you guys do.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, we're doing what works, but it's a little bit hard for us to be innovative, because this program in itself is actually one of the most underfunded programs in our organization. So we're actually struggling to make it flow. There's actually a great need for this organization, as you can tell from our waiting list. So we know that this works for the community that we serve. And it's not to say that we're not innovative, because I've been in the classroom with my youth counselors, and they're innovative, they're enterprising. So they move along with the generation. So right now we're focusing on cyberbullying. That didn't exist years ago, right? So they try to really connect with the students, and I think I'm gonna give it to Sophia, because she works more one-on-one with them to answer this question, but I know as a program director, we're struggling with this program. So CDBG, we're so grateful for the continuation of serving this population, but our need is really great right now, and we have like a big wait list. And I think part of it is, it might look the same, yes, but it's also something that works too. And that's a part of that element that we don't want to let go of yet, because we see that it does work. Because how are you going to take a model that works with the Cambodian population and put it with the Latino population? It works. So something's working, right? So to us, we see, okay, so something's working beyond like that cultural aspect. So if it works with Cambodian.
But I think the difference is the programming and the delivery. I mean, bullying prevention, I was a countywide bullying coordinator. I mean, this digital, honestly, this is, something that's been happening for many, many years, And again, I would argue if you're focusing on digital bullying, you're already behind the times. Like, it's beyond that. The apps that our students have the access. If you were to write to me and talk about a new app, if you came and talked about TikTok and the factor issues that is occurring, I'm like, okay, they're upcoming. It's something new, I liked what you said, though, that it's one of your most underfunded sites. I didn't see that in the grant. So that lets me like, hey, you're doing other stuff, you're being innovative in other ways, but just know that we have that difficult task. Thank you for that comment.
I see your perspective. I completely understand that you have all these great applications as well. But, we're kind of limited in what we can write as well. We have a word limit. So I think it doesn't really capture the whole thing that we do as an organization, how innovative we had to be afloat for 40 years. But like I said, I'll let Sophia handle that part since she does that.
Yeah, so one thing I can say is based on my 5 years-ish there at the agency, we have tested this model and we know that it works, but we've also seen, it's weird, I see things coming from one end where there's supposedly a lot of positive impact, but when I'm in the classroom and I'm seeing these new students come into our program that haven't been in our program before, I'm seeing students who are like in 6th grade, 7th grade, and they're still struggling with reading comprehension, to the point where they're at like, their parents are coming into us and being referred to us because they're like at risk of having to be pushed like back a year and retrying the year. So that's one thing that I've seen. And as far as, what we try to just kind of roll with, we speak to a lot of the school administration. We try to get a sense of what are the issues that are affecting these campuses, and then we try to tailor our workshops around that. So we have had always like a very strong mutual relationship with the school system, with the district, I should say. That was just one of the workshops that we've done. We've also noticed that sometimes students come to us with things that they're struggling with, and you think that they would already know these things and have these experiences and these teachings in the classroom, but for one reason or another, it's not getting its point across. There was a recent thing with, God, I don't remember, it was like some sort of video on YouTube where this persona was challenging itself, and it was doing like more dangerous
Just
things
gonna
and
wrap it
leveling
up.
up.
We're kind of short on falling behind on time.
Okay. Basically, with that one situation, there were a number of students that came to us and talked about how cool it was, and we had to kind of go back and be like, oh, actually, you guys, you already know what's happening, and this is not cool for these reasons. So it's just one of the many things that we've seen within the program.
My last comment's going to be this. Listen, I love your organization, and I'm probably one of your biggest supporters up here. Just be creative as you continue the process. Thank you.
Commissioner Calderon.
I have no questions. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Frazier.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Aguinaga.
What is the population, the Santa Ana population that you serve in your organization?
We generally keep it to, it's usually 95% Santa Ana residents. However, in the recent years, what we've seen is there are some families coming in from places like Tustin and Costa Mesa, surprisingly enough. And what we're trying to do is leverage the funds that we do have available outside of just one funding stream in order to be able to serve them too. So for some reason, we're getting referrals all the way from over there, and we obviously don't want to turn them away. So we're trying to figure out creatively and leverage funds so that we can still provide them a service.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you. Quick question. So we talk about being with the generation, right? And last time I toured your facility, I know there's an aging population, correct? Aside from the youth, what are you guys doing to help them gain access to like healthcare, their benefits?
Oh yeah, so all of our programs actually intersect a lot. So our families are majority Latino Cambodian, and they come to our center. We have a food pantry every other week. So we will, if we have an issue, one of our case managers from youth program will contact someone from health program, get them enrolled. They need enrollment, they need immigration relief. We have a whole network going on where we kind of just work together to make sure the family is covered.
And we've also been doing, in the mental health aspect of things, we've been running workshops to teach people about developmental disabilities and awareness around those, because not only within the Cambodian community, but within the Latino community, it's something that's not talked about within families. And so we have been running those through another program, but they're actually intersecting with our Plan Ahead Youth program, as we're seeing a lot of parents coming out saying, hey, I think that I might have this, or I think that someone in my family does, so we have them attend our workshops. We've even brought those workshops to parent meetings and actually as an educational parent workshop oftentimes. So
I'll see that you partner up with Mini Street, San Unified School District, Santa Building Healthier Communities. Those are all great organizations. Just one quick question is there still a partnership with Advancing Justice?
Yes, we go to them for technical assistance, for immigration relief. We also refer deportation cases, DACA cases to them as well.
Great. Thank you for your time, Sophia and Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next, can we please have YMCA? Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you for being on
I think
time.
we're a little early, but.
we had no lunch, so it's okay.
Okay.
No fault to David or to Judson, maybe Judson, but we
Just
put it on the
side
record.
note.
Yeah.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Patty Corona, and I'm the development coordinator at the YMCA of Orange County.
My name is Douglas Trailer. I'm the Associate Executive Director at the Santa Ana YMCA branch down Alton Avenue.
So why we're here today is we're asking for assistance for CDBG for our financial assistance program. So our financial assistance program that we fund, it's there and it's kind of a pocket of money that we campaign for annually through the YMCA, but we also try and solicit funds and leverage funds through government grants or foundation grants and so on. So the Santa Ana CDBG would be covering our Loma Vista after-school programming going on at Loma Vista Elementary School and our Santa Ana branch, which Doug will elaborate more on. I'm going to touch a little bit more on the childcare, just to give you a really good perspective on kind of that program and just really how amazing it is. So really what makes us special is that we are a very safe tuition-based before and after-school program that's located directly on the Loma Vista campus. So we serve about an average of 60 to 70 students daily, Monday through Friday. And we're open for childcare beginning at 7 a.m. all the way until 6 p.m. and even on non-school days. So anytime there's a winter break or a spring break, we also offer full-day programming. And all staff are highly qualified. They all complete the life scan, background checks, drug screening, and they're constantly, we really invest in our staff, so we have constant staff training as well. So the programming, we have an hour of healthy mind time, which is homework assistance that we provide every day at the beginning of programming. And we also have an hour of dedicated outdoor physical activities. And it's not just free play where they're running around, kind of just hanging out in the playground, but we actually have coordinated activities, and we like to give them a little background on exactly what they're doing. So if we're playing, capture the flag, we explain cardio, and we explain exactly what's going on with their bodies during that time. We also, what's a new and innovative program that we just started 2 years ago is our tutoring program. So teachers at the elementary school, they identify students who need that really extra help and who probably have parents who struggle in being able to provide that assistance. So they give that list of names to the principal. The principal then provides those names to the YMCA, and then the YMCA is able to provide actual specified tutoring for those kids that need it in the specific subjects that they need it. And we've seen a great improvement. Unfortunately, I don't have numbers in front of me, but all teachers have been saying that those students, from the time that they were referred to the end of the school year, their grades in that specific subject jumped drastically. So it's really been helpful. Parents are very grateful, because for a lot of parents where English is their second language or they have little to no proficiency in the language, they're not able to help. So that's really been a really helpful asset. So along with our clubs, and we really make it fun for the kids, every day is a new subject matter. But when it comes down to financial assistance, after school hours are crucial. So when it comes to the branch and when it comes to our after school setting, those hours where parents are still working and can't be home and can't provide time for the children, YMCA really steps in, and we get to be a cornerstone for not only the kids to have a great place to go after school, but for parents to be able to have the opportunity to have that full-time job and be able to provide for their family in that meantime. So I'll pass it over to Doug, and he'll elaborate more on what our Santa Ana branch is doing.
Good evening. I appreciate you guys' time tonight and the opportunity to speak to you all. So really quick, I just want to elaborate on the branch. I think this is the first time I've seen any of you in person. I'm brand new there. This is my first, I haven't even been there for a year. My goal there is to broaden our impact to the Santa Ana community. And so as she alluded to, we have our financial assistance program. We utilize it at the branch to subsidize up to 50% of participants' registration into our soccer program, our preschool soccer classes, our swim lessons during the summertime, and our swim team. I think it goes without more elaboration, the impact that those programs have on kids' development. So I want to take this time to kind of elaborate on a more impactful story that these funds have made on the Santa Ana community. So just 3 months ago, we started an ESL class, subsidized, 100% subsidized, free to the participants for adults. And there's two parents in that program who started 3 months ago. They would not have known about that program if it wasn't for the CDBG funding that got their kids into whether it was swim lessons or soccer. So they got exposed to this ESL program with the intent, one of them wants to become a CPA, so she needs to learn English in order to get her CPA certification, and the second wants to become a supervisor at her restaurant where she's been a server for 20 years, and she had never gotten anywhere, so she wants to become a supervisor. So again, the impact that those funds have made at our branch is beyond just getting kids into our soccer and our swim lessons programming. And so I just wanted to elaborate on that, the impact that the funds are having beyond just the kids participating in soccer and swim. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm going to start with my right-hand side with Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you both for your presentation. I have no questions at this time.
Commissioner Frazier. Sorry, I had to see your face.
Thank you for your presentation. Just so that I understand, because I am still learning a little bit about this. So it sounds like the financial assistance program is a funnel into other programs as deemed necessary by participation. Is that correct?
Yes, so people that come to the YMCA and want to participate in our services, unfortunately, a lot of them can't afford the registration fees and can't afford the programming fees. So we have our financial assistance program set up in order so we don't turn anyone away, and we work on a sliding scale. So we're able to meet them depending on their income, and we subsidize the remaining of the funding so that they can participate.
Okay, so this money would actually be spent on other programs throughout your facility, not necessarily just that program.
CDBG programming or CDBG funds from Santa Ana will only go to the Loma Vista Financial Assistance Program and the Santa Ana Branch Financial Assistance Program. So it's only benefiting Santa Ana residents.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Aguinaga?
I have no questions for right now. I'm very familiar with the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Garcia?
I do not have any questions. Thank you for being here tonight.
Commissioner Tardif?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation and the good work you all do.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Perez?
So I'm looking at your grant application. I'm looking at track and measured performances for your goals and objectives. So we're really just paying for students to go to the YMCA from their swim classes or soccer classes. How are you measuring success or outcomes in regards to that?
So the way we measure success is how many kids we serve, especially with the swim side, right? Because swim lessons are life-saving. That's a life-saving skill for them to do. So the unduplicated numbers would be that's one way that we can measure, because if our goal is 80 kids, unduplicated kids that we're serving, but we get 130 of them access to swim lessons, that's 130 kids that we potentially saved their life because they learned how to swim in a pool. And on the soccer side for the sports, we measured in character development, success in school, because again, our programming is, we want the kids to have fun playing soccer, but we also want them to learn values that's going to carry them in life, and be a better, young adult as they go into high school and then transition into adulthood. So we measure it through, on the soccer side, or all programming in general, character development, but especially on the swim side, just saving lives.
Do you have any instruments where you measure behavior? You talked a little bit about character. How are you measuring if they're gaining character, understanding team work, building? Like, how do you measure that? What instruments do you guys utilize?
So I don't have a specific tool that we use as far as like an evaluation. We do parent feedback to see how the program has impacted them, because the parents understand the honesty, the value, the caring, the responsibility that we're trying to teach them. And so they'll provide us feedback based on, are we instilling these, do you feel like we're instilling these values into your children through our programming? So again, we don't have a hard and fast, tool that's scientifically proven that proves that they're learning, but we get parents' feedback through monthly surveys and just conversations that we have with the parents.
And the only reason I ask that, a lot of these students unfortunately come from communities and families that sometimes aren't building those morals and values and leadership. So I think, I think the why serves a purpose, but I think, even qualitative, even just doing a pre and post test. I think those are things that you probably want to take a look at as you look at these measured outcomes and goals. You're competing against a lot of organizations that have instruments, that have structures, in that process. Thank you.
And lastly, my nephew and niece attend the Y in your programs, which is a swim team, the soccer team. I can tell you firsthand that it does develop their character, their confidence. Through the swimming, there's different levels that you go through. And aside from that, even the parents who go there every Saturday to watch their kids play, there's a sort of in a unique way, like a community bonding, because there's pizza parties, there's friends, and they've been going for many years. I've personally been thrown out of the Y for yelling too much because everyone's a winner, and the coaches are very supportive. So
I could see that.
Yeah,
sure.
True story. And my brother-in-law is a coach, and he takes time and actually, helps with the team. But thank you for.
Can I say one more thing?
But I do agree with Mr. Perez. It's just we want to follow success stories, because I know my nephew's been going there for 4 or 5 years now, and just following those students along, because who knows, you might have, you know, a star athlete that has gone to those nice colleges, and it's something to highlight. I'm going to bounce it back to Commissioner Perez.
And I think our chair did a good job of telling you what stool instruments. So, you know, one of the things about this public hearing is that opportunity. So I would, you know, give you guys an opportunity in the next 24 to 48 hours, provide city staff some of those. So as we look at these, you know, we're able to show those measured outcomes or goals. If it's quantitative, if it's a question you're going to ask. But, you know, as you talked about, if it's the surveys, that would be good to pass on just as we're moving this process. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Finally, our last presenter of the evening, can we please have Women's Journey Foundation please approach?
And thank you for being early.
Correct. And just as a reminder, we are validating. If you parked here, please get validated.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to be last.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time. My name is Netta. I am the project lead for Next Generation Emotional Intelligence Through the Arts. We're honored to be here today and to be considered for this grant. So some of you may or may not know that today, our young adults, we are seeing the highest rate of suicide, depression, and anxiety since World War II. And that's across the board with all young adults. Now take into consideration a young man or a young woman that is homeless, in and out of foster care, and exposed to street and gang violence. They have, their chances of success academically, professionally, and personally are significantly lower than the average youth. Through our research and experience, we have identified, and I'm sure that you've seen the statistics as well as an institute, that emotional and social intelligence is one of the best ways to combat these challenges. 80% of an individual's success, personally and academically, has to do with emotional and social intelligence, also known as EQ. And so we're coming today to propose this program that fuses together emotional intelligence for our youth to help our at-risk youth get to that next level and be able to navigate through these challenges that they are exposed to as young adults. Now, we understand as educators that in order to engage our students and create an experiential education, that we need to bring diverse and engaging teaching methods. And so we are infusing emotional and social intelligence with performing arts. What other way to have a fun, engaging program that can bring connected learning to these young adults? So we're bringing together emotional intelligence with singing, dancing, theater, and putting together a full show for the community where they can be engaged, build self-awareness, team building, and relationship management. I've had the great honor of doing these programs throughout the world and have seen great success in juvenile detention centers in Germany, special education facilities in Japan, and we've seen the results through emotional and social intelligence combined with the arts.
Good evening. I see some familiar faces, and yes, I'm still with Santa Ana Unified. My name is Heidi Cisneros. I'm the Director of Pupil Support Services, and I'm here as a fan and also on behalf of the district. So I have seen over the years the programs that Netta is discussing, and I've seen these amazing experiences and how they have impacted the lives of the youth. My favorite term to describe what I witnessed is life-changing. Some of the toughest kids, saddest, most low-key kids participate in this program, and they just bloom into a new confident person with self-esteem, ideas for their future, and it's not about them wanting to do arts per se. It's just about getting them to feel that confidence and that new perspective and believing in themselves. So I've been to many shows. My kids can attest to how many shows I made them come with me because each show is so unique and magical. And so we hope if this process works out that many of you will join us for that show. And I am here on behalf of the district just because we have several principals who have committed to this program. They have strong commitments to the arts as well as SEL, social emotional learning. As a district, we're very committed to it. We feel that it is a key factor in academic achievement as well as social development. And this program is significant to us because we know it's important to impact our students in after hours.
And while we do have a strong after-school program, this is a whole unique program, and it will fill in other hours for students specifically in need. And so I'm here to represent their commitment, our district's commitment, as well as an FYI that we do have systems and enrollment processes where we do identify our students, so we will be able to target the most needy students as far as our foster, as well as McKinney-Vento, which is our educational name for homeless students. As a district, I don't know if you know, but we do have the most foster students in all of Orange County as far as school districts. So we do have the highest number of that population. And of course, our homeless population, transient families, is also very high. So we will be able to identify, we will recruit through the campus, and then connect and create that connection with the program within the community. And of course, you know, the bonus at the end is the families participating and that moment of pride and glowing that the parents have when they see their students on stage.
Thank you. And I know we're pretty well out of time, but just to reiterate what Heidi said is that we recognize that the time that these students need the most support is when they're not in school. So during the holiday break, after school. And so we are proposing to bring in 2 programs, a summer camp, 1-week summer camp, and an 8-week after school program in the spring.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm going to start with my right with Commissioner Calderon.
Thank you for your presentation. I was looking at the Excel spreadsheet that you submitted. So in regards to the swim practices, am I correct that the students are going to be able to have like swim practice, or?
No, I don't think that's.
Oh, okay, because I thought I read something about like going to practice or extracurricular activities. Or am I looking at the wrong grant?
Maybe they're wrong. Yeah.
Maybe they're wrong grant.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, though.
No swimming for us.
Yeah, okay.
They'll have arts practice.
Oh, okay, so I was looking at the wrong one. I am so sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
I apologize for that, but I was paying attention though. So, I mean, at this time, honestly, I don't have any questions. If something comes up, I'll be sure to bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you for your presentation. What do you classify as youth? What is your age range for youth?
Great question, thank you. So we're going to be K through 12, so we're going to have the opportunity to work with elementary, middle school, and high schools in Central Santa Ana.
So max of 18, 19 years old?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And does that include both boys and girls from youth? That's the entire pool?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Aguinaga.
I have no questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Garcia.
I do not have any questions. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tardif.
Thank you for your presentation. I'd like to know, what are your arts programs involved?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So basically what we'll be doing with these programs is building a 45-minute show, so a full production. And so all of the arts curriculum that we're going to be infusing is through learning the show. So we're going to be doing dance classes in various genres, ballet, hip-hop, jazz. We're going to be teaching choral music as well as solo music that has to do with musical theater. And all of the outcomes are towards building this 45-minute production show with these young adults.
Great. Where might we be able to view that
Great
production
question.
show?
So again, Santa Ana has been so great to combine with us in this project. And so we're going to be using the theater at Santa Ana High School.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. This program does not provide for food. How are you going to actually pay for food for these services and these students?
So as part of leveraging, the students will qualify for a free and reduced lunch. So we will be able to leverage that program to provide the food, as well as other funding that supports McKinney-Vento and foster youth.
Excellent. And I know the population that you're serving is very hard and transient. Some live in shelters. How are you going to get them to participate during the summer for this program?
Well, most of them are identified at schools that are fairly close to wherever they're located as far as their shelter, et cetera. But we will be able to look into transportation and bus passes, which they do also qualify for.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nanda, for your presentation. It seems that, Heidi is just a good friend to have. She's figured it all out, which is great. That's a good partnership to have when an applicant can come with their partner and say, hey, you know what, we're going to meet them halfway here, because it makes us feel assured when we the questions that are raised as far as transportation, food. It helps us venue. It's very helpful, and we would love an invitation to one of your productions. We are a very active board, so thank you for your time. And we have, if you need to be validated, we have a validation here for the clerk.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, we're going to be moving really quick. Anyone here for public comments? Seeing none, we close public comments. Staff member comments? Seeing none. Okay, we're going to return it back to commission comments. I'm going to start with my left with Commissioner Garcia.
So I say thank you to everybody, my fellow commissioners, for participating in this round of CDBG presentations. And thank you all for the input you provided to our presenters and for your sharing your expertise and your questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Tardif.
I just want to thank you all. I have no particular comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Tardif. I'm going to come over here to Commissioner Calderon.
Just want to say thank you for everybody for just evaluating all of the applicants. I do want to clarify right now. I got mixed up with the applications. It looks like the last two were backwards, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what happened in my confusion. I want to apologize on that. So, but other than that, just thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Frazier.
Really?
I was almost.
No, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate being allowed to be part of the process. I know as a tenant position that I don't have to be part of this process, but you've seen fit to include me, and I do appreciate that. I do appreciate getting the proposals and being able to look over that information as well, because it does helpful for me to educate myself and be able to be an active member of the dais up here. Other than that, see you guys next year.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chair Aguinaga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's been exciting to be participating in this process. I volunteered for the ad hoc because nobody else wanted to do that.
That's right.
But that's great, because in that way we'll be informed on how many organizations we live in the city of Santa Ana. And I'm very passionate to give money to the people, for the city of Santa Ana, for the residents of Santa Ana. So, thank you so much. And our job is not done yet. We need to decide how much money we want to give to each organization. And I'm sorry, I'm really like.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
I'm going to stay in bed whole day tomorrow.
I haven't forgotten about Commissioner Perez, but I'm going to go ahead and Commissioner Garcia.
Quick question. Is there going to be a debrief about the process sometime after when we were done with the selection process and all that? Because I do have feedback that I wanted to give, so I don't know if now is appropriate or wait.
I think we should wait until after the process, because we're still in process. So I think we still have a couple meetings to meet, and then a review. Then after that, I think would be great.
Okay, well, let me, because this is really important. I just want to put it out there. It's really important to provide the proposals before we have these hearings to us, because I know only the ad hoc committee received the proposals. So it was really hard sometimes to ask. For me, at least, I had to preface some of my questions by saying I don't have the proposal in front of me, so it'll avoid us being redundant and asking questions that are already in the proposal. So it's helpful to have them beforehand. I just assumed that was going to be part of the process, even though we're not going to be rating. It's the ad hoc committee. It's important to have those beforehand so we don't spend time asking questions that are already in the document. So just wanted to put it out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Perez.
Thank you. Just want to let everyone know and make sure during public comments that it's stressed that there's an ad hoc committee of 3 commissioners with city staff that will be rating these proposals. After that rating proposal is completed, the full commission will be voting on the recommendations. We're hoping to have that at our next meeting. After the full approval is moved forward, we actually will move it to City Council for final approval. So I just want to make sure that is noted.
Thank you, Commissioner Perez, and I want to thank the Vice Chair for stepping up today. I think we've all have sacrificed a lot of our time, our energy. I understand some are under the weather. Some folks have family commitments. I know Mr. Perez has been looking on his phone the last meeting for family and all that good stuff. But this is really important, and I want you guys to take away something is that just because an applicant has come year after year for funding doesn't mean, we have hard choices to make ahead of us, and it's not about liking what they do. It's just more about how can we stretch those dollars to make sure that ultimately the residents, Santa, and our youth benefit from CDBG money. That being said, this meeting is now adjourned.